another dream. Hold on tight, so it sure feels right. Stick to you like a tire on a liquid road.
Happy birthday, Golan-Globus Theater.
Well, happy birthday to us.
Well, we are Golan-Globus Theater.
That's true.
So, happy birthday to us.
But it's technically not the show's birthday. It's really our birthday.
It's our birthday.
You know that already. The gifts are fucking flowing in from all the people across the world.
That's right.
They can't get enough of the Golan-Globus Theater unless you're talking about black movies.
We've got enough of the Chinese air balloons, though. I can only fit one of them in my backyard, and we've got 9 of them, full of licorice ropes.
Yeah, well,
Very appropriate for this movie.
Yeah, well, not for me because I hate licorice.
How do you hate licorice?
Because it tastes like shit. You like licorice?
Love licorice.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. I mean, like the good
Red
cherry
or
shit.
Oh, ugh. I don't like any of it. No.
Not the anise kind?
No, I don't like anus. No. No, thank you.
No, thank
licorice. But thank you, Golan-Globus Theater, for always bringing it for our birthday episodes.
That's right.
This is. I never thought we'd do this movie because I think it's just too good for the show.
It's incredible what you have to like. I mean, we never knew we were gonna make it to what 4 or 5 years running now.
5. We're almost our 5th anniversary is coming up. I'm gonna say 2 months. I don't fucking remember. I mean, it was like either April or May. I'm gonna say the beginning of May.
Yeah.
Because we might be doing something for April. But we got, oh my God, we got for the 5th anniversary. You think this is good? Oh.
Can't believe
5th
it.
anniversary. Look for that like 4 weeks, 6 weeks.
But in all that time, it's like, again, yes, canon has movies, but we've run out of their
big
action
ones.
movies.
Well, not all. I mean, we're not doing Mission Impossible or not Mission Impossible. Missing in Action 3 or some shit.
Yeah.
No.
We got to actually enjoy talking about it.
By the way, like we never know how long the show's going to last, so we can't keep stockpiling these great movies. Okay, we need to get them out to the people.
And now, I mean, we've experienced this recently with other movies that were like we just did Conan.
Yeah, well, because that was the thing. That was the good litmus test. Because I was worried. I was like, come on. At the heart, we're a comedy show, and even though we love almost all the movies, like Ginty's in it, we don't. But we love almost all the movies we've done. We like to rip on them. That's the whole point of the show. And like, I don't want to. Some of these movies are sacred to me. I don't want to rip on them, but I'm like, is that going to be entertaining for you guys? And we've proven with our Conan that you do want to hear some serious movie talk every once in a while.
Just turns out that there's enough there. There's always enough juice to squeeze.
That's because we're amazing podcasters. We can do that.
And hopefully we're not chewing on our own
licorice.
Yeah, licorice here. Yeah. Licorice hubris here, because this is
chewing on our own hubris. Is that a phrase?
It is now. I just griffed it.
Gnawing on the hubris.
Gnawing on our licorice hubris. Because Mad Max cuts very close to the Murray.
Yeah, if you're a real fan, you already know this is my favorite movie franchise of all time. And I like it just for what it is. It's a pure grindhouse film. Because, Griff, you ever run into these people? I'm sure you have, where it's like they tell you their favorite movies, and it's always some highfalutin, like French New Wave shit or something. Like, no, fucking Mad Max movies are my favorite movie of all time is the fucking Road Warrior, and I'm not gonna intellectualize it because that makes me so. I like it for what it is.
Tell me, what is it?
It's fucking pure nihilism put on screen, and we'll get into that another time. We're talking about Mad Max today.
It's bare butt cheeks being held in by little straps.
Yeah,
and
that's not a comment on the gay society in the future. And if it is, I don't give a fuck. Because that's not what I'm looking for in my favorite movies.
How about this, though? A movie from the 80s with a gay iconic character.
Exactly. If you listen closely, there's a gang called the Gay Boy Berserkers in Road Warrior.
Oh, well.
So, fucking Humongous was very inclusive. Say what you will about the guy. He was inclusive. But yeah, I mean, you ever run into that? Like people like you're like, oh, sure, that's your favorite fucking movie.
Again, we always give it up to the metalheads. They have the best concert attenders.
Yeah.
And I give it up to the horror people because my friends who are big into like the horror movies, they're always like, oh, my favorite is some schlocky horror movie.
Right.
Something that resonated with them from when they were, like a teen or whatever, and they just stuck with them.
Yeah, because to me, the best. To me, movies, it's about how you feel. It's not. I mean, I'm not saying like it's not like Griff and I just watch B movies or like we like the fucking intellectual movies too.
There Will Be Blood, one of my favoriteest movies. Tell anybody, anytime.
There you go. Like I'm not saying if you like them, like you're an asshole or you're a snob, but I think. That's what happened with Fury Road to me. Maybe that's why it kind of gets on my nerves.
It's a new audience too. You got to remember that.
Yeah, which gets on my nerves too.
Yeah,
because it's very much like people who are Marvel Cinematic Universe fans, and then you have comic book fans. And when you have the Cinematic Universe fans telling you, well, Captain America would never act that way.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about. Shut the fuck
There's
up.
48 years history of Captain America. Tales that I really enjoyed, tales I didn't really enjoy, and then there's this. The movies just kind of follow the same comic book timeline where it's just like, here's its own little Captain America world.
So that's why I always get annoyed when people are like, no, Fury Road is the best Mad Max movie. It's not. I'm sorry. And that's it. We're gonna have to do it eventually.
We will.
A few months down the road.
Maybe if Furiosa comes out, we'll do it like
there
right
you
before
go.
then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because to me, Fury Road, it should be called Furiosa Road because it's all about her.
Yeah.
Max is out of the equation. But we'll get into that some other time. Mad Max. Okay, and like getting back to what I was saying about this need to like, you can't just like something for what it is. You can't just embrace the trash. Like we were just talking before we started recording. Like, look, I recognize that Samurai Cop is a fucking incompetent piece of shit. Like, there's nothing was done properly in that movie.
Nope.
But goddamn, does it entertain me every time I watch it?
Every single time. Continuity errors all over the place, edits all over the place, but the story, the characters, how they fucking talk to you.
I mean, can you believe this, Chris? There's some people who think Rudy Ray Moore isn't talented out there.
I can't imagine I know a single human being in my life because if they existed in my life, I would have forgotten to protect our friendship.
Yeah, I would have cut him out.
You would have cut him out.
Well, Rudy Ray, he's like an American icon.
He is the icon. I wish we would put him on a dollar bill.
The $20 bill, yeah.
Yeah. The Rudy Ray. That'll be 5 Rudies, please. Oh, my God.
But yeah, because I think about shit like, if you're a music fan, I'm sure you've seen it pop up on your YouTube feed, the Amoeba Records What's in My Bag videos. Now, first of all, have you ever been to Amoeba Records?
I have.
I have too. It's a great fucking store.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there 20 years ago. I don't know how it is now. But, I mean, there's one in I've been to both, the one in San Francisco and the one in L.A. And I found some cool fucking shit for good prices, too.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the conceit of What's in My Bag, the musicians come through town, and do they let them just take whatever they want, or they buy these things?
I think they give them like some money, but it's I thought it was just for conversation, but they definitely get.
Well, they should get something for free. They're giving them content.
You're giving them content too, so I think they give them like 75 or whatever. But
so you get these bands, and then they go shopping, and then they talk about and they explain why I like this, that, the other thing.
Yeah,
and I can just imagine, like, I wouldn't have this, but the stress you're under as a cool artiste when you're like, shit, I can't put like Beastie Boys License to Ill on here or something because I'm not good. So it's like you'll have like the fucking triangle player from Anal Cunts on. You're like, oh yeah, what's he gonna get? And it's like, well, I gotta have my fucking Sonny Rollins jazz record. And you're like everyone has to have their one jazz record to prove that I'm a serious musician. And I'm not knocking people that like jazz, whatever you like, what you like. But I just feel like some people are fronting. They're just like, I gotta seem like I'm a real musician.
What bugs me about it is that it's like there's some people I know who are obsessive about it. Rollins talks nonstop about how when he was growing up, that's what was around him, and so that's what he listened to constantly. Right. But he'll tell you albums. I have this problem with jazz. I listen to it multiple hours a night because that's what comes on. Jazzy Day or Classy Days, Jazzy Nights. That's our radio station here. And when
My mom listens to it. She listens to the classical part though.
I'll listen to the classic part sometime, but I'm mostly jazzing it up at night.
That's another thing. Like if you're not into jazz, then you pull out a classical one. And go, I'm smart. I'm an intelligent.
I got the
music
Tchaikovskys.
listener." Exactly.
So the fact that they always pull out the same like John Coltrane album or Sonny Rollins or even Miles Davis or that's what bugs me.
Yeah.
I want to see someone pull out the Mingus, someone pull out, and that's not even a
Kenny
small
G,
name.
like real fucking jazz.
Real
guys.
jazz. Now, if somebody did come out and do that, you would immediately be like, no, faking it. You would do that.
I'm trying to be like ironic. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I see what you mean about the movie films because it's just everybody is afraid to say, some people
Everyone's
are
so
afraid.
just insecure, and I just want to tell people, don't just like what you like. Like life, I could imagine being over the age of like 25 and giving a flying fuck about what, like, especially strangers. Because I see it all the time. Like, I live like the Grinch. I just live in a cave with my dog by myself. Once a week, I come out here to Griff, I record, and then I go back to my cave. So I'm not around people. So when, of course, since Griff takes charge of all the technical aspects of the show, I said, okay, I'll try to sell this show on social media. So I have to be on social media. I'm not saying I have to be because we've met a lot of great people through social media. It's been, to me, it's been more enjoyable than like everyone's like, oh my God, Twitter's just a cesspool. If your whole identity is politics, yes, it is a cesspool. But if you just talk about movies and music and shit you like, it's fine. I've never had any negative experiences.
Right.
But I just see this insecurity. Like, I'm just like, why? Like, why are people pretending to be someone else? Like this, they're this persona, and I'm like, why?
Just enjoy what you enjoy.
Enjoy what you like something great like Mad Max.
One of the most pleasant conversations I had like a year or two ago, I met somebody who didn't really watch movies, and they were like, yeah, my favorite movie's Twilight. And I wasn't like, you are an idiot.
No, I actually respect that.
I was like, fuck, what is it about Twilight you like? Because all I've heard about it is it's a pretty silly movie.
Yeah, it's like a vampire Harlequin romance now.
And they told me a couple things they liked, and they were like, yeah, just pop it on, and, it's comforting.
Right.
Bravo. Spoke from the heart.
That's a real person.
That's a real person who told me that. And you know what?
I mean, I think she, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking, I was like, you need to expand your horizons, but still, that's the thing. Road Warrior, I saw it when I was like probably 8 or 9, and it's still my fucking favorite. 40 years later, it's still my fucking favorite movie. It just hit me on a personal level. And I don't even know. I'm going to try to explain it when we do Road Warrior, but I don't know if I even can articulate it.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, I don't know what we're going to do to get you in the right mind to talk about your favorite movie, period.
I'm going to take some ayahuasca, go on a vision quest.
Oh, you're going to do the Aaron Rodgers? You're going to clap your butt cheeks and go into a dark
whenever Aaron Rodgers comes up, your butts come into play.
I just do that now for Abra's sake. Yeah. That's like we ew her with the football talk, and then we bring her back with the butt talk. Back it up. So what's interesting about this movie, we had a shared experience, because I've watched this movie probably 9 or 10 times before I did notes.
Yeah. I want to point out, of the whole series, here to me, it's Road Warrior, Mad Max, Fury Road, way down there beyond Thunderdome. But I've seen Road Warrior like at least 50 times. I've seen it a million times. Yeah. Whenever I see it, I have to stop and watch it.
Yes.
Mad Max, not so much. I still love the movie, but it's not that I think they perfected it with Road Warrior. But yeah, I've seen it at least a dozen times or something like that.
What I love about this and what I really started to understand.
Can I point out? I'm gonna tell you my Mad Max story. I saw, like a lot of people in America, I saw Road Warrior first. I had no idea Mad Max existed because, like, outside of, like, anyone who's listening outside of America, you got Mad Max 2. So obviously you knew there was a first movie. I did not know that. I knew the Road Warrior, and I loved it. And this, you got to remember, this is back in the day, like, VCRs were new and shit.
Right.
And so I think it was Channel 50 or something. It was like years later. It was probably like I probably saw Mad Max in like 82 or 83. This is like 85, 86. Mad Max. I was like, what the fuck? I'd never heard of this. That's the one thing I feel bad for with like people now growing up on the internet. You'll never have that joy of just being surprised by shit.
We hear this kind of thing. We've talked about this kind of thing with wrestling. The joy is just gone. Everybody knows about everything now.
Yeah, you know the backstories.
And I don't get why wrestling nerds are like, I need to know all this. I need to go on these boards, contribute, and recirculate all this shit. Make sure Chris Jericho still got his podcast to tell me exactly what he did in the match that was so incredibly intellectual.
Yeah, and fake. So I was fucking pumped, Griff. I couldn't wait till the day, it's going to be on like Friday at 8 or whatever. And
so you saw it in the TV guide or whatever?
I saw a commercial for it. Like it was coming on.
Okay.
And
you saw Mel Gibson.
Fucking hated Mad Max. Why? I'll explain to all our non-American fans. Because I don't know why they did this.
Hey, I didn't even know there was. I knew it because of you.
Yeah.
But there's
if you
American
had a DVD
people.
player, I would have brought it over so you could watch the fucking version. Because if you didn't know this, on Americans, that's what I call people that aren't from America, un-Americans, they dubbed the dialogue with American accents, and it threw me off so much. I was like, I hate this. I can't enjoy it because it's like Mel Gibson had the fucking bedroom voice, Goose. We're gonna get the toe cutter, aren't we? And it was just like,
That's
and you never understand, like, and you think it wouldn't be that big a deal because it's like they're speaking English, so at least the shit. It's not like a Godzilla movie where the lips aren't even. It's like the lips are, but I just knew something was off. Well, obviously something's off, but it threw you off. I hated it for years. I was like, fuck. All I love is a Road Warrior. So move ahead, and by the way, people, this was the only one available in America. If you rented a fucking VHS, it would be the shitty fucking dub. Move ahead, like probably 95, 96. I'm at a comic convention. This is back in the day, like probably even earlier because this is pre-internet. So you'd have bootleggers selling bootleg movies,
right?
And you could get because obviously there's no internet for streaming shit, so it'd be like Super Friend episodes from the 70s. You buy that shit. All illegal, by the way, because I remember I was at a Comic-Con where the cops actually busted, I was mid fucking bust. Like they were throwing blankets over the people's shit. Like, you can't buy this shit.
Wow.
And I found the Australian dialogue audio on VHS. Probably cost me like $20 for this shitty dub. So much better. It blew my mind. I'm like, this movie's fucking great.
Yes.
All it was just the voices.
It makes no sense.
It's amazing.
It wouldn't fit in tonally when you said, the dubbing's all awful and everything. And I was like, who is Batman voice? And you're like, Mel's character, Max, of course.
Yeah.
So incredible. That's such an awful way to pick up that movie. They have to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, it just tells you what the actors brought to these roles. Because you're like, these guys are trash. And you're like, no, these guys are fucking great.
They're so fucking... This movie... I love movies for escapism. I love going to a different place. I've talked about this way too much. So Mad Max brings me into that place. I love this one. I love just how the universe changes between the three movies. Obviously, there's a lot of problems with 3.
Well, I want to point out, because I don't think many people talk about this. I mean, George Miller... Great action director. One of the best. Like, he really knows how to port in the camera. Like, there's great fucking... Griff and I have talked. We're not like car chase guys at all.
Oh, not at all.
But I think he knows how to shoot this shit to make it exciting.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the biggest fucking congratulations I can give to a movie is that this is a movie. One of the more iconic things besides Max, The Interceptor. It's like fucking car movie without being a car movie somehow.
It's a Ford Falcon is what it is.
Oh, it's a Ford Falcon?
1973 Ford Falcon.
But yeah, the chase scenes are quick.
Yeah. And
they get right to the action. And they get right to the, this, out of that, the stunt, the big thing. I love that he's constantly doing the stealing gas shtick. I didn't realize he did that in this movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When we start getting into the movie, I did watch some documentaries around the DVD. I will pepper in some fucking facts for us.
You'll get your facts.
Real facts, not the IMDb facts were awful on this one. I looked at these people are wrong on all this shit.
Wikipedia, to give you some information here. If you go read Wikipedia in this movie right now, you'll be assuming the wife died.
Yeah, I did. Until I paid attention. I was so mesmerized by the action, a lot of the shit just went over my head.
It's incredible. I brought up how many times you watched this movie because it's like I watched it 8 or 9 times.
I came away with like 3 or 4 things I didn't remember from previous viewings.
Exactly. I watched this movie for the notes and I was like, who the fuck are these people? I don't even remember any of these people. I don't remember this. I don't remember that. I thought the wife died. She doesn't die.
Right.
It's incredible. Like, this movie works on so many levels of concentration. It's a fun movie to just relax.
Yeah, because
and
there's
watch.
a lot of like background noise, like TV's talking, but they're giving you pertinent information.
Yes.
But getting back to George Miller, okay, one guy I think is an unsung hero that people do not talk about. And in fact, if you're really into like wanting to know Mad Max facts, there's a guy on YouTube. It's called the Mad Max Bible. Check him out because he really digs deep. He figures out the timeline of all the movies and all this shit. And so check him out. But he didn't mention this guy, which I thought was odd. Byron Kennedy, who is the producer and was a friend of George Miller.
Okay.
'Cause they were both doctors. And they worked like as EMTs, so they saw a bunch of car wrecks. That's where the whole impetus for this movie came from.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because originally George Miller wanted to be about a journalist that was investigating like all these car things, and then he's like, "Well, how do I, like, if his family gets killed, it's kind of coincidence too. Like, it doesn't make sense." And then Byron Kennedy wanted to make a cop movie, like a chase movie, so they incorporated their two ideas. But I feel, and I might be wrong about this, but what happened was Byron Kennedy, and from what I've heard, they were kind of like equal partners as far as like he would have some things to say about the direction, Byron Kennedy, and George Miller would have stuff about the production. Like it was like a symbiotic relationship. It wasn't just like I just direct and I just produce. Like they had it back and forth because they were friends.
Did George really have a movie before this?
He did short movies. I think this is his first like
full. Okay.
And this was the first ever. Actually, before Blair Witch, this was the highest grossing like movie, like for as far as how much it cost, how much it made.
Okay,
it cost $200,000 to make, and it made $100 million.
Jesus Christ.
So
symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. So Byron Kennedy, I feel, and because he died right after Road Warrior, I think he was like scouting. He was in a helicopter crash.
Oh yeah.
And I think he was scouting locations for like the next Mad Max movie.
Yeah.
And I think we've noticed there's a tonal shift in the movies between Mad Max and Road Warrior and Thunderdome. And as far as he brought to me the cynicism, the kind of nihilistic like darkness to it. Because I've always said this about Thunderdome. Why I don't like it is to me it felt like George Miller trying to do a Steven Spielberg version
100%.
of Mad Max.
Yeah.
Because and I know for a fact that Byron Kennedy fought for the ending of Road Warrior, which is one of the greatest endings of all time. Because it's like he wins, but does he? He wins by fucking up. Like, I mean, it's the greatest ending of all time because he actually makes the sacrifice and then he gets fucked over by those people that he saves. It's amazing. So because George Miller, his instincts to go for the happy ending.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that's not Mad Max.
I mean, George Miller did go on to make a movie called Happy Feet.
Right.
So think about that.
Right.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
About dancing penguins.
I mean, even Mad Max has that beautiful, bleak ending.
Right.
So I agree with you there.
So I think people need to give more credit. I don't think George Miller's trying to put, because their production company is still called Kennedy Miller, and the guy's been dead for almost 40 fucking years. So I think he respects it. But I think the Fury Road newbies need to know that Byron Kennedy is just as important to the mythology of Mad Max.
Yeah. I just don't like, and I think it makes sense in the time.
By the way, people, this is going to be another like huge opening like we did last week for Speed. But hey, this is a birthday episode.
I just love like the timeline really does work out in this movie because you get the first movie where the world is just kind of really
and they do the right thing. What do they do, Griff? A few years from now, they don't fucking put a date on it. It's just a few. So it's eternal now.
There you go.
It's always in the future.
What I love about it too, everything feels very real in it. You know, it's like I do love in the second one when you start getting more of like this just piling shit on vehicles and the real nasty. That's what makes that movie so amazing because it's close enough, but it's far enough, and it's like you are in a whole new fucking world. Beautiful.
We did that on the Conan episode as far as. And I this is exactly why it works as opposed to a lot of like say like something like The Walking Dead or some like more contemporary one is it gives you enough fantasy that it makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Like we said, Conan gives you enough fantasy and magic but doesn't go all in on it. So it still feels real, but it still gives you a lot of interesting visual shit. Like, I mean, obviously, Lord Humongous is ridiculous concept, but it works in the world that they created.
Right, exactly. Like, I just love everything about it. It's like David Lynch has great villains, and Road Warrior and Mad Max have great villains. I don't remember. Immortan Joe was just, he's just okay to me. I can't even remember how.
He was low budget Toe. That was Toe Cutter.
Yeah, I know. It was
low budget.
Rest in peace.
Yes.
But yeah, it just like the enthusiasm that Toe Cutter brings. Yeah. It's so great. And then Lord Among Us is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So it's just, he built those two up so well. And then I don't know what, Tina Turner in 3?
Yeah.
She the villain?
Yeah, and then there was that fucking little bald guy.
Oh, yeah, Master Blaster?
No, not him. The guy who was the henchman. He was like, he was covered in tattoos and he was bald. He was a singer for an Australian band, I forget. Rose Tattoo, I think.
Oh, okay. And then, yeah, Fury Road, Immortan Joe, there was cool visuals.
Yeah.
But there wasn't as much of that shine that I love about the original trilogy even. There's still some great parts of 3.
Well, yeah, and George Miller has said that in all these movies, he's got a backstory for every character. What I love is he doesn't spoon feed us that.
Yes.
He uses it for what he wants to do, but he lets us think about the shit. Like now, if you made Road Warrior now, because there's the little gun case that Humongous has. It has like Nazi memorabilia and shit. He just throws it out there and he lets you think, how did he come up with this? Now it would be like, we're going to explain how he came by this gun.
Yeah.
And like, no, let the audience fucking do that
Right.
shit.
That's the best part about a fucking Wasteland movie, though. How the fuck did they find that shit? Because it's just... So one of the opening scenes of Fury Road, when they have like the giant carved into the mountain waterfall and everything, I was like, the scale is just off for me. I know this is...
It got too fantastic. It got into the realm of fantasy.
It's supposed to be 30 years from the original Mad Max. I
don't know. I mean, I would recommend you check out that Mad Max Bible guy on YouTube because he does a pretty good job of explaining it. Yeah.
Okay. Because I saw somebody who was like, the age seems to correlate with the actor. So it's like Max is supposed to be 24.
I think originally it was supposed to be because Mel was on board to play it. So it was going to be like 30 years because he's 30 years older. And then it just got thrown out the window when they had to have Tom Hardy instead.
Yeah.
So it just became like
And if you go by that, it would be 13 years later.
Yeah, because George Miller's kind of cagey about it. Sometimes he says it's a sequel. Sometimes he says it's a reboot.
Yeah.
So we don't really know.
That opening scene throws you off, too, where the Interceptor kind of like pulls up and he takes
the Interceptor's back. He gets blown up in Road Warrior.
Yeah.
What were we saying?
Well, I wanted to go with the timelines and just I really liked how it built up.
And I got this from, because like I said, we were talking, Griff and I, like, we're not those people that notice, and what's funny, since we've been doing the show, we have, because we're taking notes now, so we do notice shit, but upon first viewing a lot of these movies, we didn't notice a lot of shit. There's a sign in the very beginning, like 57 deaths or whatever. There's like some graffiti that says somebody was here in 1984.
Oh, okay.
So it roughly, and I think the Hall of Justice says like established in 1983. The MFP, the Main Force Patrol or whatever. You got to work on that. That's pretty weak.
It's pretty
Main
weak.
Force Patrol.
They got bigger fish to fry.
But so it's like it's in that mid 80s is where.
Potentially.
Where Mad Max takes place.
Yeah.
And then Road Warrior takes place a few years later, and then apparently Thunderdome's like 15 years after Road Warrior.
Yeah.
So that's the timeline. So should we get into this movie?
We can get into this movie. You already gave your rankings on where all the
and I think I'm right.
franchise.
I'm right about that.
No, I think you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Road Warrior is definitely more entertaining. This one, right there at number 2 for me, especially. And then I guess Fury Road's in there, and then Thunderdome.
Yeah, that's the proper. Sorry, guys, that's the proper.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, let's get ready for that licorice ride. I picked out this special trailer for you because it's got a badass synth soundtrack on it, and it's got a little bit of that shitty American accent, so you'll know I'm not fucking with you. Because I think, well, it's funny because it is on my DVD. You can listen to the American, and I did just go, maybe I was too harsh on it. I was like, no, it's fucking trash. Fuck this.
You were never wrong as a kid, never change.
Exactly. So everybody, get on that licorice ride for this Mad Max trailer.
In the not-too-distant future, there will be no civilization. There will be no heroes.
They say people don't believe in heroes anymore. Well, damn them. You and me, Max. We're gonna give them back their heroes.
In the not-too-distant future, there will only be madmen and the main force patrol. Max is a main force officer trying to protect his family and stay alive. His only weapon, 600 horses of fuel-injected vengeance. Mad Max, the maximum force of the future.
In my best American Max voice, a few years from now.
We join our MFP, Roop and Charlie.
Yep, Roop the fat guy, Charlie. They're like the comic relief cops.
I wouldn't say that. I think Roop is supposed to be our modern bastard cop who fucking sucks.
Well, he does a good job of it.
He seemed like a piece of shit. I hated him. And then Charlie was too much of a stiff to be like, let's do the right thing right about now.
Now, they're wearing some badass leather, or unfortunately, only Mel Gibson's wearing leather because they couldn't afford it. Was a low-budget movie. They could only afford vinyl for everyone else.
That's right.
How did you feel about the leather with the powder blue turtleneck?
Oh,
Was that
loved
good?
it. It was good for me.
Okay.
He rocked it.
Yeah, they all did.
Yeah.
That was their uniform.
Except Roop. He fucking was hanging in it. His
Yeah.
gut was hanging out of it.
Stains on it.
Well, we're supposed to be discussed about him.
Yeah, well, good job. So we open up. He is watching a couple making love in the fields.
Yep, using his rifle scope to
Yeah.
watch, just some kids fucking on the side of the road.
Yep. On the side of Anarchy Road.
Anarchy Road.
And he's getting ready to, he's unzipping his pants. And then Charlie's like, hey, we got a call.
March Hare calling in for Big Bopper. So apparently March Hare is dispatch.
Okay, I don't know. I'm kind of foggy about this. But
Again, there's so many fucking great little details in there.
well, I didn't know if they named their cars like names because Max has one. It says Dark One on his Interceptor.
Yeah, and this will be interesting.
So
We'll have a lot of fun
maybe
with that.
was their car called the March Hare or whatever? Or
Oh, no,
Big
no.
Bopper.
Big Bopper.
Okay.
No. Roop and Charlie's car was called Big Bopper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So their car. Okay, that's their car.
And that's why I said March Hare seems to be the dispatcher.
Yeah, and here's the first thing I never picked up on because I'm just engrossed in the action. The Knight Rider, I thought, was just some joyrider guy they were trying to catch. But
Yes.
no, he had just killed a cop and
Yes.
stolen his V8 Interceptor.
That's right.
So this is the second to last of the V8s.
And I love it too because all the other MFPs are like, motherfuckers got another of our interceptors. It's gonna be such a fucking shame to take them down. Because
Right.
that's like killing a fucking unicorn.
Yeah, well, there's something foggy about this. Okay, in his essence, Max is a traffic cop. I mean, so they just solve crimes by running people off the roads. Like, I mean,
Yeah, the world again. I love it because they don't give us too much details, and it leaves it up to our interpretation. But yeah, he is a super highway cop.
yeah, I mean, what we learned from this movie is, and this, unfortunately, I think we're at the precipice of this in America right now. We're like society's about to crumble.
Yeah.
like infrastructure's going to hell. We just had fucking train today go off the
Another
fucking rails
with dangerous chemicals in it.
Yeah.
No, I get it. And you were doing the whole thing where you're like, I hate when people take my movies and try to intellectualize them.
Well,
but
no.
I'm trying to relate to them. Is that the difference?
No, it's just kind of like no. This is what I mean by that is they can't just accept something for what it is. There has to be a hidden meaning because I'm smart and I like this dumb thing. Ergo, there's got to be some hidden intelligence that you don't know.
Okay.
I mean, the perfect example to explain for people. In its time, Shakespeare was for the common man. But now, over time, it's become something for you wouldn't understand Shakespeare.
100%.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And when you really think about it, art in general, because you've seen the shit where it's like people just fucking do like a 5-year-old sketch and go, that's genius.
Yeah.
Well, why is I want to, when people say how much of a genius, we've our whole life, we've just assumed Picasso's a genius. Why? Why is he a genius? I want to tell people, explain it to me why he's a genius. They couldn't do it.
People, I'll tell you right now, Murray did get an honorary art degree for a birthday gift.
Did I?
Yeah, from Yale.
Okay.
They're known for art, right?
Yeah, so I want you to start calling me Dr. Murray.
Dr. Murray Watley.
So Knight Rider is fucking going crazy, joyride. He doesn't give a shit, but why? Because society's crumbling. Who cares?
Right, and this is what I was going to say, is I relate to a lot of these scenes where it's just big, we see some of the city in this movie, which we've never really gotten in another Mad Max movie.
Right.
And it's interesting because it reminds me a lot of when I go to weird parts of the suburbs. Just empty buildings everywhere.
Yeah. Well, part of the reason was budgetary reasons. They couldn't afford,
Well, yeah,
obviously.
but
this
still.
was very guerrilla filmmaking.
But still, it ends up
Yeah.
working on
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, because they're out in the fucking boonies, the sticks, most of the movie.
Yeah. Which explains some of the towns they visit and everything.
Right.
So...
Well, in essence, this is a Western. I mean, that's what
Oh,
it
yeah.
is. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Roop and Charlie, of course, are fighting over who gets to drive. But Roop, being the bully cop, he's like, I get it. The biggest fucking jock in school.
Charlie doesn't allow him at first.
Yeah, he fights back
Yeah.
for a second.
No, Charlie takes off.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
I
Because
didn't-
it's after the first crash, then he's like, I'm taking over.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't realize that. Good call.
But so and like I said, I never put it together that he stole the cop car, but it makes perfect sense because he's on the radio taunting the fucking cops.
Yep.
So he's fucking literally reciting AC/DC lyrics.
Is that what he's doing?
Yes, I didn't know that. Our buddy Mike, who's an AC/DC fan, probably knew that. But yeah, he's reciting
No
AC/DC lyrics, and he's got his fucking sleazy broad with him, and he's not even wearing shoes. He's driving.
Oh yeah, and we could see he's got like a weird little mark that's supposed to be a tattoo right on the side, above his right eye. And he's also got tattoos on his toes. That was interesting. I don't think Gen Z has picked up on that yet.
Well, people girls love having their feet tattooed for some reason.
They do?
But, yeah, you haven't seen that? Not the toes, the top of the feet. I've seen that a lot.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that a little bit, but that was Generation X that I saw getting that.
Okay, well,
I
I'm
don't-
Generation X, so that would make sense.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if I've come across too many people with a foot tattoo.
What's
Actually, Kayla has one.
face tattoos is the
No,
whole
Kayla
new thing.
has a Achilles tattoo, right. Ugh.
You know what we need to do right after we record this? We're going to get the Toe Cutter Gang tattoo on our face because face tattoos are where it's at right now.
And then we'll get on TikTok
Exactly.
and do TikTok dances. So, of course, dispatch, of course, putting out the word, everyone's getting into action.
Well, when the cop killer happens, all the cops got to get
That's right.
involved. So
Big Bopper running down the road. It's getting closer and closer, and we're seeing that they're coming up a side road that's going to bleed right into the road that Knight Rider's on. And you're right, because what's his name? Ropa.
Roop.
I was about to say Ropa. Mr. Wopa.
Mr. Roper.
Roop is about to, he's taking aim with his gun.
Right. And fucking Knight Rider sees that, so he just slams on the brakes. And he hits
Classic.
hits a car sign. This is an allusion to the intro of Road Warrior, too, the same scene, where you got Wes riding up on Max, and he's got the fucking little, like, crossbow thing.
Yes.
And Max slams on the brakes.
Yes. Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah. So, yeah, Knight Rider's just fucking toying with these guys because these are like the Keystone Cops. This isn't Super Cop Max Rockatansky.
Right. I mean, we're seeing what, like, we'll learn later that MFP, the main guy, Thief, he needs Max to stick around. And it's because they've been having to pick up hooligans like fucking Roop and Charlie.
Right, because like you said, society's falling apart, man.
Right. There's not a lot of people who want to wear the bronze.
And so we get a call in. We're like, we got to get fucking Max. So they call him up. He's like calmly like tuning up the car, proud of his interceptor, shining it up.
Adjusting the presets on the radio.
Exactly. Puts the fucking visor up. He's got, and so this is our like leathering up scene. Puts on his leather jacket, his leather gloves.
Just all butt. It's all butt. Don't worry, Abra. If you haven't seen this movie, we're not focusing on his face, his anti-Semitic mouth or anything. Just his innocent butt cheeks.
Right.
In leather.
And then we see he pulls down the visor. We see the shades on. We're like, this is a badass cop.
That's right. He's a badass cop. So we get more driving along down the road, and you're thinking these guys are bored out of their mind. No, it's humming along.
Well, because we got fucking Knight Rider with his fucking commentary nonstop, man. He's cutting a promo on everybody.
Like you just mentioned earlier, we got beautiful little details that we're picking up now because we're really studying this movie. The sign there telling us 57 deaths on these roads. Be careful.
Yeah, because apparently that's the biggest problem in Australia at this time is just car wrecks, which I guess was a big thing when George Miller was an ambulance EMT. Like,
right,
so that's
he would know. Yeah,
so
write about what you know.
Right. So now we're gonna meet another great character, Jim Goose, the Goose. Buddy, the best friend of Max. Not partners, because he's a motorcycle cop.
Yes.
And he's in like the diner, Fat Nancy's.
That's right.
And he's telling this guy, he's like, man, I just had this fucking, last night, this accident. Guy's face got ripped off, and he was like still alive. And this guy's like, oh, I can't eat. He's like, I'll take your shit. And he's just togging down on that's the Goose Man move.
It was his trick. I love how I never got this until I did the movie for the notes. Like, Mel tells us later, like, Goose is out there fucking around with everybody. He's so full of life. You can't take Goose away. And, that goes on later. But here's Goose hustling an old man, monkey hustling an old man for his fucking breakfast. Because he's a kid. He's got to eat.
I wish more people would have got that reference you did, but,
Oh, I wish they would have. But did you notice everybody else in the store, except for the shopkeepers, were like 80 years old?
Yeah, because they're basically at the Cracker Barrel of Australia, Fat Nancy's.
Yeah, Fat Nancy's is just in the podunk little town, So
So he gets a call in, fucking Knight Rider. I think Knight Rider just drives right by the fucking that restaurant. So
he does, yeah. Because everybody's startled by it.
This is a nice little touch. All the tow truck guys are like, yeah, we're going to make some money. So they jump in their tow trucks to follow.
That's right.
So they can be the first. And Goose jumps on his fucking bike and heads off chasing after the Knight Rider.
And now we're going to get a nice, tension establishing shot here. Because up ahead in this road, careless parents, letting their child just wander in the streets.
Well, they're arguing over, I think, the man was cucked by his wife, so he's upset with her.
Wow. Murray took it to a sexual level. They were arguing over who gets to pick the Gatorade flavor they buy.
What did they decide on?
Blue.
Blue. Okay, I like it. So while that's going on, their little rugrat is just wandering into the streets.
And we also have another couple trying to do some kind of maneuver with their RV.
I think they're just trying to do a U-turn, but they got like it's not an RV, it's a trailer on the back of their car.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And so they're blocking the road,
Right?
Because this guy's an idiot.
Yeah, he gets stuck on the curb or something. He could move out of it, but he's like, "Well, I don't know about that one." Oh boy, that's
exactly what the dubbed version sounded like, Griff.
I am
job.
only doing impressions of the dubbed version.
So, but this scene, the purpose of the scene is to show how fucking fucked up Knight Rider is, because he's enjoying it. He's a kid, because they're right side by side. The cop car, I think it's Roop and Charlie.
Yeah, they managed to get their car running again.
Yeah, and this now Roop's driving, so he's like, now shit's gonna hit.
And Roop has told Charlie, "I'm killing this motherfucker," which we're about to learn in a little while that Max is worried that he's becoming one of them. Right. And when you look back on it, you're like, shit, Roop is towing that line.
Right. And so, like, even like Knight Rider's girlfriend's like, "What the fuck? There's a kid," and he's just like loving it.
He's
like,
licking his lips. Right. Like, my God, you talk about Toe Cutter being able to lick his eyebrows. That
he liked it so much he had missing an eyebrow. That's how much he licked it.
I was wondering if I was going to remember to ask you that. Yes, he was missing one, the right one. Yes. That's why you have Lisa Left Eye.
So I think what happens is they like spread out. One cop car just fucking goes off
It goes to the right and banks off a telephone booth, and then back into the road. And they keep looking back to see like the kid they almost ran over. This isn't Roop yet. This is the other cop car. I don't remember their name. But there was like the other car in chase. I can't remember their name. And they're the ones who hit the phone booth and then they fucking launch. Do they?
They go right through that trailer.
Through the trailer.
Great fucking stunt. Looked great.
It looked amazing.
They get fucked up.
We got, I think it's, what's his name? Goose right behind them.
Yeah, Goose like skids out. Pay attention, people. He skids out on his left leg.
Oh, he did?
Pay attention. Remember that detail. Okay. But he's
Movie ruined.
But he's all right, and he like calls and he's like, "Max, we're all out. It's up to you, dude."
I love it because the people driving the truck with the RV attached, they're like, "You all right there, mate?" And he gets up, he takes off his face mask, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on, bro." He's amazing. Right. Goose is brimming with just this amazing energy, and then it almost makes you want to vomit to think another movie that people claim is better took the name Goose and gave it to a fucking geek.
Yeah, we're talking about Top Gun, baby.
Top piss.
Sorry, Stuart.
More like it.
Still not good. And so, and then Roop and Charlie crash, too, so much that, like, Charlie gets his throat slashed open.
Right. And careless Roop calls it in. "Hey, you might want to bring the meat wagon around. Roop's got a cut on his neck. Or Charlie's got a cut on his neck."
Yeah.
He's visiting the chocolate factory early.
And so we're like, all right, now we're finally going to see the man of the hour, the Tower of Power, the guy we came to see, the man they named the movie after, Mad Max.
That's right.
So he just figures out a way, like he's always one step ahead of Knight Rider. Literally.
No, it's we could go to the wisdom of Homer Simpson again. He watched some show, Night Boat, and there's always a ravine or a creek or something that cuts across and gets him in front.
"You listening, Bronze? I am the Knight Rider. I'm fuel-injected suicide machine. I'm a rocker. I'm a roller. I am out of controller," which is an AC/DC song.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
"The toe cutter." He's like, we learn a toe cutter is like a cult of personality. These guys want to impress toe cutters so badly.
And I love it because, like, when you really start to notice this, you're like, what does Toe Cutter do? What has he done? How does he get this status?
We don't know. That's our imagination.
But then again,
George Miller knows, but he's like, "I want you guys."
I love that. That's why I love David Lynch. I know people say he's fucking weird and everything. I love that he's just like, "No, I just like people to talk about it. I have my meaning. You have your meaning. Perfect."
Exactly. So Max has got ahead. He can sense where Knight Rider's going. So now we get a little game of chicken.
That's right.
and fucking we see how much of a fucking roller out of controller Knight Rider is, because he bitches out.
That's right.
Fucking flinches, goes away, and then he's such a bitch. He starts crying. He's like, "Oh my god!"
He can barely put his weight on the gas pedal anymore. Max has time to go another mile down the road, stop, calmly do a K-turn, get back on the road, hurry back up to him, and now he's behind him just honking the horn. And Knight Rider is just all tears. His lady is like, "It's okay. It's okay.
It's all over. It's all over." He's just crying. It's like, God, what a bitch. All talk, no action, Knight Rider.
That's right.
And then there's up ahead. There's another car wreck, because like this was the hell of the future Australia. It's just car wrecks. You guys don't have guns.
Yeah, that's right. So we still do a lot of that too.
You just use cars as your weapons.
I got to tell you, we had a horrible snowstorm up here in Michigan, and I had to traverse some of those roads, and there was a lot of massacre. It almost looked like a Mad Max, but too much snow.
Okay.
There was even, I got to show you the picture of it. I was sitting at my computer, and the transformer across the street blew up. So that whole side, there's like all the trees over there, just illuminated in fire. I was like, oh, fun.
Well, that's for good foreshadowing to this next scene, because apparently someone strapped a rocket on the back of it. It was very obvious. I mean, they literally did they went to the Navy and got a rocket.
Oh, no shit.
Put it on the back of Knight Rider's V8 Interceptor. See, it just fucking takes off. This was kind of odd.
It kind of like I guess what they're trying to do is like, it got triggered because it went up over a little hill and it kind of came to a weird landing. And I guess that's what it's supposed to be.
I think it was just like, hey, this would be really cool if we put a rocket, because the shot fucked up, but they like it looked cool enough. They're like, fuck it, we don't care.
I think it looks cool
because
enough.
I mean, if you can see it, you watch it. Obviously, no one's in the car. It's just
Yeah.
because there's a fucking literal rocket on the end of it.
Yeah, of course.
And then it crashes into some cars, and then there's a huge explosion. It's like, case closed. I mean, I guess that's like how they use Max. He's like, just kill these people.
And they referred to this in the movie as was it Case 3 or Chase 3 or something?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like they just kept referring it to as, oh yeah, you remember that Chase Level 3 or whatever it was?
All right, this next scene there's a little. This is where we disagree.
Oh
me and
no,
Griff.
Murray is just so fucking hard. He doesn't understand. I mean, I'm willing to argue this belongs on the Sweetson scale. So please introduce.
Okay, so we're back at Max's place. All right, we're having some nice smooth jazz playing. I'm like, oh, okay, this is just a transition. The high octane action. We're cooling down with some smooth jazz.
That's right.
On the soundtrack. By the way, I want to point out, a lot of people, and I can understand, would think the music for this movie is a bit jarring. It's a bit at times overly dramatic. But I love it. I think it really fits this movie.
We watched a movie earlier this week that had jarring music, and I gotta tell you, the music in this I felt was very fitting.
But yeah, you gotta admit, it is jarring. It's very bump. It like hits you.
Yeah,
but it works. Like in other movies, I think I would have been annoyed by it. But for whatever, and it works in Road Warrior. It's funny, the composer Brian May, who is not the Brian May from Queen. I thought it was too, and I'm like, no, it's just some guy with the same name. He did the first two, and then in the third movie, they got like a tradition. They got the guy who did Lawrence of Arabia's. It was a very traditional score.
Okay,
and it just to me took the balls out of the fucking Mad Max series.
Yeah. I don't remember the music that well.
It was just generic fucking, like what you'd hear in any movie. But to me, Brian May's soundtrack is very Mad Max.
Yeah.
So I like that. Like, it really is unique to this fucking series.
I like the contracting kind of music, the more intense, and then mix it up with like the soft jazz here, because it's just, we're seeing a man torn between the two worlds that we're gonna explore more in Road Warrior.
So all right, so I'm like, oh, it's just a transition. No. We see Max. We cut to.
Don't skip over this. They have a fucking baby. Mm-hmm. That is in some scenes and out of some scenes.
We see he carries his own gun. I mean, this kid, like...
Yes, that's right. We see him playing with a giant fucking revolver.
Which is great, because it just plays into the whole society's just fucking crumbling.
Yeah.
Like it's these people who are the normal people are okay with their kid literally playing with a gun.
Right.
A fucking toddler.
Hey, they practiced their second
He had to
American Amendment.
Well, yeah, it worked better in the American dubbing.
Yeah, that's true.
But they did have the safety on, so it was
So
okay.
the kid's on the fucking table just eating a towel, and Max is enjoying a nice, crisp Foster's.
Exactly, because that's what we all know. That's what Australia. And he had some shrimp that was right off the barbie.
And he just rests his chin in his palm.
And
he's
I'm
looking
okay
up.
with it right now. I'm like, okay, fine. And then they cut to the love of his life, Jesse. His wife is literally playing the fucking smooth jazz on a saxophone.
Do not let Murray sell this scene short. And when I talk short, I'm talking about Max's shirt that she is wearing right here, riding real close to the crotch there, while she's playing a saxophone, frizzed out hair, not even a couple buttons undone there. I mean, she's not a busty one, but it doesn't matter. Fucking Murray, if there was fucking in this scene, this would be a perfect 10 out of 10. Even without fucking, this registers as a 6.5. Because the fucking mind play, the fuck play happening here is off the charts.
So what are you saying? Is this foreplay or is this after the fucking happened?
This is foreplay.
Okay.
This is
She's
foreplay.
kind of seducing him with some smooth jazz.
100%. And think about how, what do they call that word? What's that word they say?
I have no idea.
Um,
I'm not you. I'm not in your head.
Oh, you're right. You're not me. You're not in my head. But this is very progressive.
Okay.
Because the woman is trying to seduce the man.
But then it gets regressive just the next scene.
Yes, it
because
does.
she's drying his hair like she bathed him.
Tearing between two worlds here.
Okay, yeah.
That's the plot.
So yeah, after I guess it makes sense that like George Miller was being discreet. He's like we always said, he's about use your imagination. So he lets us use our imagination about the great fucking that's happening.
Yep.
And then we're at the after scene where they showered off. She's toweling him off.
That's right.
And he's just like, oh.
I like that. My version of this makes so much sense. It's foreplay. And then they're like, well, we need to occupy the kid, give him the gun, put him in the corner. We fuck. He doesn't give a shit about anything but that gun.
He's smoking a cigarette and shit. And so they've she's toweling him off, and we hear in the background, we hear the story about the cop killer, Knight Rider's been dead, and she's like, wow, he sounds like a real piece of work. He's like, he's just another fucking crazy, you know, who fucking cares?
Third incident of its kind in the last 27 days. Max is on TV again because apparently
he's a superstar, super cop, you know.
As Fief will say later, the world needs heroes.
All right, so the next morning he's getting ready. Like she's worried. She's seeing this is dangerous,
right?
You know, and he's just like, this is my job, you know.
He's not even registering that he was in a life or death situation,
right?
And she, of course, is concerned about that because she wants to build a life with him. They have a little child they named Sprue together. Sprague,
which is even worse.
Yeah.
So
Sprague, the
she's
wet rocket.
kind of like, do you really have to go into work today? Meanwhile, Sprague, he's like cleaning the gun and shit. And
Sprague is on the floor
it's like,
cleaning.
Dad, here's your gun. Cleaned it for you last night.
Mel Gibson is busy eating 4 apples.
Yes. And she's just like, really? He's like, look, Goose needs me.
Goose wants me in early today. He's got some new cards or something. I don't know, but Goose.
And she's like, all right. You go off.
I didn't even really think about it. He's so innocent about it. He hasn't really thought about it too much yet.
This is his world. He's immersed.
Yeah.
That's all he knows.
Exactly. He's just like, no, this is what you do. This is how I provide for you. What do you mean?
Yeah, well, that is true because like I've experienced really weird, fucked up things in my life. To me, are just normal, and I talk to like normal people, and they're like, "That's really fucked up," and I'm like, "Is it?" Like you just because when you're in it, you don't see that shit.
Exactly. No, it's 100%. He's just in this world. It's just this is it to him, so he doesn't know any different.
So he's about to get in the car. He's like, "Hey, wait!" She says, "Oi!" That's what
they had a mini fight, and so she has to oi him.
And then she does a little. By the way, she just made this shit up. They said this is not like sign
No,
language.
it was garbage. When she was pointing to her like wrist, I was like, no, that's nothing.
But then he's like, what the fuck? What? Crazy about you?
You didn't even have to say that. They have a beautiful word in Australia for confusion. Oi!
It works for everything.
It works for everything. You want a beer? Oi!
Crazy about you. So now, like yes, I mean, one thing I'll give. Well, according to you, George Miller is a master of like sexual tension. Like to me,
It might have been his friend.
To me, it's kind of they're trying to develop some kind of relationship with these characters, so you're invested in their relationship.
I mean, considering some of the dog shit I've seen, I loved this scene. I thought it goes up there. I thought Jessie shines in it.
Okay.
Thought she looked great. And I thought Max just sitting there below her, looking up at her, drinking his beer, kid, like I said, eating the towel. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was
Is
a
he
great
eating
scene.
the toe or just chewing on the toe?
Well, you know babies, they're stupid.
He's teething.
Eating is teething.
Okay, so he goes to work the halls of justice, and I like it's just this run-down, dilapidated building.
Again, this is what I love. I love this dilapidated shit. I love that in Australia, a place where it's like you got a city here, a city here, a city here, and not wasteland, but deserted land and everything. That's awesome.
I mean, it really is. I mean, Australia really, it's just people just live on the coast. The rest is just a hellish desert in the middle.
Yeah, it's
one
like
thing I didn't get about George Miller's the Mad Max series, not so much this movie, but when we get into the whole in the wasteland. You never see Aborigines.
Yeah.
And you think if anybody would know how to survive, because that's where they've lived for centuries. So you're not so progressive after all. Fury Road wasn't as progressive as you want us to think.
You're damn right about that. And you know what? If you're gonna, like you said, if you're gonna be in the wasteland and all that, he did his George Lucas
In a
thing.
way, though, I don't want it because you know what it would be. There'd be a scene where Max like passes out in the desert. He's found by an Aborigine. And then he's like nursed back to health.
Yeah, maybe that's why he omitted that. Because Max, of course, gets screwed over or does something that people wouldn't, accept as righteous.
Yeah. All right. I said, Goose crashed his bike, skidded on his left leg. He has a cast on his right leg in this scene. Continuity, people.
I know you say it's a continuity error.
I believe
his left leg's fine. He went and fucked that woman last night, and he fucked up his knee fucking her.
Slipped on the licorice.
That's right. Flicked.
So he's just like, hey, Max, I got something for you in the garage. What are you talking about? Come on, just trust me. We go down there. Here's a little IMDb fact for you. Okay, they only had 3 of the yellow interceptors. Well, not the interceptors, but the MFP cars. But they do a great job because they make it seem like there's a lot because every time they switch angles, they park the cars like behind the guy.
Because this is a giant underground garage.
Parking garage.
There's like one light on in it.
Right.
Very X-Files. And then, yeah, you're right. They just kind of move those cars around because it definitely does seem like there's cars everywhere.
It gives the illusion, that they have this huge fleet of cars.
That's so cool.
3.
That's so cool.
And we see there's this grease monkey's like, you're not going to believe this shit, Max.
This guy was great because he's like a bumbling kind of idiot. And I feel like a bumbling idiot is... I feel like they use them as mechanics in a lot of the Mad Max universe.
Yeah.
Like people that you would say today are on the spectrum. They're just mechanical geniuses.
You're right. There is a mechanic in, I think, almost every movie.
Yeah. That is kind of like out there.
Yeah.
Because this was Barry, I believe, isn't it? Yeah, I think it was Barry.
I didn't care enough about him to even know his name. But he's just like, we got a fucking V8, motherfucker.
Yeah, you're not.
He's like, where did you get this? Well, I just found parts here and there, threw it together.
That's right. And Goose is just selling him on it. I got to tell you, Goosey Boosey, I was like, Murray, did you hate this scene? Because Goose goes full Australian.
Yeah.
He's telling them, it's the Vegemite on the bread. It's the fucking sprinkles, your jimmies
the
on your...
eucalyptus leaves on your koalas.
It is the duck's guts.
It's the duck's guts. And fucking Max is like... He's like, wait, listen to it. He's a revving it. And
yeah,
then
Max's first reaction is, okay.
Yeah. Because he probably was talking with Goose about the argument he had with Jesse. And he's like, she wants me to quit.
His brain is conflicted.
And then when he hears the rev of that V8 engine, he's like, I could have had a V8. And he's like, when the fuck are we getting this on the road? He like forgets Jess. He's like,
right.
Whatever.
We go upstairs. Fifi is listening in. Fife, as they call him.
I think they just call him Fifi. Because his name is McAfee, is his name.
Oh,
so
that's
Fifi
why they call
is his nickname.
That makes sense now.
Did you recognize this guy? He was in our other Australian movie we did like last year.
Oh, was
Turkey Shoot.
Turkey Shoot, which explains why Goose called the guy a turkey. No.
No.
One of my favorite scenes ever, by the way.
And so yeah, he's giggling. He's got these binoculars. Like they're in a parking garage. How does he know what's happening?
I thought he was just looking out into the courtyard with the radio and heard it.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
That
that's
makes
how I
more-
read it.
That makes more sense. Yes.
But what doesn't make sense is he turns to a man,
Police commissioner.
wearing like a suit, but wearing armor underneath
Yes,
it.
he's on his way to his kendo stick training.
Amazing. And he's saying a scene I never picked up on.
I didn't either.
I never understood this scene.
No,
Never.
never. You know why? Because all that Australian talk threw us off.
The walkie-talkies and the whistles.
We're still trying to like make sense of that shit, so we missed this entire scene.
At one point, and this is a joke I've used for the longest time, and I think the guys might be Australian or something, they mention donk. And I lost my brain. I was like, did they really just say fucking donk? It was the mechanic. He's like, do you want me to check on your donk? Like, what the fuck is a donk?
It's the engine. Because you know how I know that? Because I watched. They had a thing on my DVD where it would tell you like facts that would pop up. It's like the Amazon thing.
It was.
And they would tell you
speak.
all the Aussie slang.
It was like at the back of Clockwork Orange, you get the Drew speak vocabulary.
Well, it's very similar.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, hey, Australia was founded by criminals, so they're kind of their droogs, you know.
That is true. Yeah, I love it.
So yeah, so Fifi's giggled. He's like, he bought it.
Yeah.
Because we learned that they're so worried about, because obviously Jesse's been riding Max and he's been like, you know, putting it out there.
Right.
Goose has been working him.
Right.
But he's just like, they're kind of trying to bribe Max into staying by letting him have the top of the line V8 Interceptor.
Right. And like I was saying before, I was trying to build this up before, like Roop is kind of like our big cop right now. Roop fucking sucks. Mm-hmm. He has no business having a bronze on his chest. So get that guy the fuck out of there. We need more Maxes. They're trying to build their MFP force around Max. He's the future.
Right.
So they're like, we got to have this kid. You know, we got to give him a V8. Got to give him a V8.
Get him where he wants. Just keep this guy.
And even the police commissioner says, am I all done buying candy for your favorite officer?
He's like, my kendo training awaits. And he
Loved it. Weirdest detail. Perfectest detail. I love these details.
Right. No explanation, which is why I love it.
Exactly.
All right. So that night, Max he's fucking working out that V8 Interceptor because I guess he ran another guy off the road. Like that what Max's job is? Just kill like fucking criminals with his car?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
because another wreck.
I didn't even think he was responsible for
Yeah,
it.
he was.
I thought they just showed up.
I think no, because Fifi shows up to like congratulate him. He's like, you got another one, Max.
Oh, okay. Code 3. That's what it was.
So yeah, so like there's a guy hanging out of the car. I mean, I guess they have guns because they have shotguns. I don't know.
But
it's just cooler to like run somebody criminal off the road and
think
crash
about
them.
this. And again, a reason why I don't really care for Fury Road. Throughout this movie, how many times did you see a gun get shot?
Not many.
It is 4 by my count.
Okay. Yeah, because I know they, at this time, I think, they could have guns. Because I know there was some incident, like a massacre happened in Australia, and they were like, we're not having any guns. And they just got rid of their guns. But that happened, I think, in the 90s or something.
I think that happened in the 90s.
Yeah. So at this time, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they had sensible gun laws even before that. It wasn't like you can't have fucking assault rifles. You could have like a shotgun, a rifle, a pistol or something.
Yeah. We do see a lot of like long guns in this movie.
Yeah.
Actually, no, 5 because I forget May takes a shot.
Yeah, but she doesn't hit anybody. So.
She doesn't hit anybody. She takes 2 shots, so I think it's 6. So you see maybe 6 gunshots. In a
And they're all
movie.
like old-fashioned guns too. Like the May has a fucking double barrel fucking
Like I
gun.
said, she's got a fucking long ass rifle,
Right.
old school, and Max is carrying the same thing as well.
Well, he at this
He
time,
eventually has
at
a
this
sawed
time
off.
he has a pump shotgun. At this time,
Okay.
but he eventually gets the fucking double barrel.
Yeah, he's got the double barrel, and then he gets a sawed off double barrel. Beautiful.
And so it's just another night. He's just like still we're just hey, Max is doing his job.
Yeah, we're establishing again that this is just a normal day. He shows up to an accident, like you were saying with George Mill and the EMT thing.
Right.
Like that's his life, just seeing horrible tragedies.
But he's like whatever about it.
Right, exactly. He's numb to it.
And Fifi's there to tell him, look, Knight Rider's crew. The word on the street is Knight Rider crew's after your ass.
You got to remember, Murray's telling it in a serious tone, and he's got serious eyes right now. He says it in a jovial way. Hey, buddy, I just got to tell you. Yeah, you remember Knight Rider, that Code 3? Yeah, so some of his boys are saying they're gonna get you, but they're common scrogs.
Yeah, and he's like, scoot jockeys? Let's add them to my collection. Like he's in it. He's like, bring this shit on.
Right, and Fief, when he hears that, he's like, yes, my boy.
Right, he loves it. He's like living vicariously through Max.
He's living vicariously, but he also knows he needs Max under his force.
Right.
On his force.
Yeah,
We're-
'cause Max is the only thing stopping complete chaos.
Right.
It's just that one good cop. We've learned that through all the movies we've done. It's that one good cop.
This is going to help so many people appreciate this movie in a whole new way.
Well, if you're listening to this and you don't, fuck you.
No,
first of all.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
they didn't appreciate it before. I'm just saying appreciate it in a whole new...
Yeah.
We've been watching this movie for years and never understood some of the fucking context of this movie.
Because we're mesmerized by the action.
There's so much to be mesmerized by. Mel Gibson's butt in leather.
Speaking of mesmerizing, we finally get to meet our villains of this movie. We're at it's like an old west town, and these bikers just drive up. By the way, they couldn't afford like all these actors, so the guys that don't have speaking roles are real life bikers.
I believe
they
it.
they were an Australian biker gang called the Vigilantes,
They work
and
for
they were
beer.
doing their own fucking stunts, dude. These are
course
just
they
regular guys,
Think about it back in the
and
day.
they were like, "You want some beer? Can you do this stunt?" And they're like, "Fuck yeah, I'll do it."
Think about the power of saying, we're shooting a film right now. It'll be released. We can get you a copy if you want it. We'll give you some beer right now if you want it. You can hang out and party with us if you want to. You want to be on a film? Think of the power of that used to have back in the day when everyone didn't have a fucking camera.
Well, and also this movie was unique because at the time, Australia, most of the funding for movies came from the government.
Oh.
And they, of course, because the reputation Australia has is, it's a penal colony, so you're all a bunch of fucking white trash, like, criminals. So all they wanted to do were artsy movies to, like,
Really?
Right, so, like, the fucking Australian movies sucked. And this was, like, the first that was, like, a badass movie because it was privately done,
Okay.
So, yeah, the gang rolls into town, like you'd see in, like, a Western. And we see...
It's so beautiful. They all roll up and then they back into their spots. We see like a fucking 50s car from the, America with like a flame on the side and some shit.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
all the cars were American in this movie.
Okay, I don't know what that car is.
Yeah.
It's very eccentric.
I
with the
originally
50s,
thought it was
though.
a 57 Chevy, but it's not. It's like a Coupe de Ville or something
It's got that style with the big wings on the back
it
and
looks
all that.
awesome. It's a cool
It looks
car.
cool as shit. And there's some naked kids sleeping there.
Well, they're not there. They're
Oh,
partially clothed.
Partially clothed.
Yeah, they're like very uncomfortable. I wouldn't like. They're like he's like laying on top of her. Like,
Yeah. But it had like a pimp interior
Yeah,
and
it was
everything.
all, like,
Shag
fur.
carpet. Yeah. Yeah, fur interior.
This was actually like a really shitty car that they pimped up. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they said they got it super cheap.
It
so.
was obvious it got fucking pimped up.
Obviously, because we see what's going to happen to it later.
Yeah.
Is it got it cheap.
Yeah. And then there's also like 2 other young kids that walk out to see like the ruckus coming
Right,
in.
because this is like the fucking sticks. They never see this kind of shit.
Right. It's mostly old people. And then there's this young couple that apparently live there. And then the people in the car who I don't know. They just seem to be bumming around here.
Who knows?
Exactly. They're sleeping in a car for fuck's sake. So I feel like they're bumming. So motorcycles come in, they back up, they all park, and then they get the signal from Toe Cutter to cut their engines. They have to get the signal to cut their engines.
Like I said, he's like false doom. He's got these people mesmerized.
Mesmerized. Why not? He's got that skunk hair, that beautiful
Right.
skunk hair.
I was just, when I was watching this, I was like thinking of you. Because I'm like, the way your hair is now,
Yeah.
If you just shaved off your eyebrow, you'd be Toe Cutter.
Yeah, you think so? Get that white streak?
Yeah, and then I think if I shave, which I'm going to do in the next week or two, and bleach my hair, I would be Bubba Zanetti. We have that Toe Cutter Bubba look.
You have that
on.
more serious tone, and I have that more
Right.
jovial tone. It's
Right.
perfect. I obviously don't have the body Toe Cutter has. Right. Shit. I mean, I have Bubba's body going on, but...
And then, so we see, he gets off, and then we see this young boy, Johnny the boy.
Yeah, Johnny the boy.
You can see he's in awe of Toe Cutter because Toe Cutter takes his helmet off and he's like combing his hair, brushing Toe Cutter's hair.
I'm such a nerd for this fucking movie because first off, Kundalini gets off with his friend Mudguts, and they're dancing in the streets.
Right.
And Kundalini's wearing like red leather with big boots.
He looks like Frank Zappa.
Yeah, he does. And then he's got the big mustache and heart sunglasses. These goofs are amazing. Like, their outfits, it looks like they all went and figured them out themselves, and they fucking work. They're dirty as fuck, which is just adds to it.
Well, what they said was they got Kawasaki gave the movie the motorcycles.
Really?
And the guys who are playing the gang decided we're going to be a real gang. So they like drove their motorcycles from like Sydney to I think it was filmed in Melbourne. They like drove all together.
Nice.
So yeah, they were all.
I imagine all these kids. Mel's like 24 at the time. I imagine all these kids are probably in their 20s. So
probably, yeah.
That had to be one of the fucking coolest experiences. I feel like one of them probably wrote a book about it that's unknown.
Maybe.
Because that would be really fucking cool to
I'm
hear
glad
about.
you brought that up because when I was watching that Mad Max Bible guy show, there's a novelization. I had no idea of Mad Max and Road Warrior. I've never seen it.
Makes sense.
Maybe it was only available in Australia. Anybody has that out there and wants to part with it, let me know.
I'll look up the writer because I like to go to the used bookstores and everything. So
that probably worth a lot of money.
It'd be hard to find.
I've never seen them. Ever.
It'd be hard as fuck.
I think I think I did have the novel for Thunderdome. I don't care about Thunderdome. But man, if I could find the novel, because I have the novelization of Escape from New York, which was hard as shit to find.
Yeah.
And if I could add those two to
that'd
my
be
collection,
fucking cool.
I'll keep awesome.
it. I love keeping an eye out for shit.
But so they're into town, and like you said, they're just taking over the town. They're doing whatever they want. They're dancing. They're like a West Side Story gang at this moment.
They are like a West Side Story. They're flamboyant. They're doing whatever the fuck they want. They're these dirty bikers. They own every land. You know, like the fucking oh god, I was gonna bring it back to Genghis Khan and the Mongolians. Any land they stepped on, theirs.
I'm glad you said that because that was Hugh Keys-Byrne, who plays Toe Cutter. That was his inspiration. Was Genghis Khan? He had that Genghis Khan kind of top knot later.
He did the top knot later, yeah.
And
all of his looks, he changed it too.
Well, yeah, and because him, Bubba Zanetti, and Johnny were all Shakespearean trained actors.
No way.
Yes, and what he brought to it, and you don't get it in the American version that I saw, is he changes his accent in every fucking scene.
Yes.
Which,
all the interactions with him, like I said about Immortan Joe, why I don't give a shit about him or don't remember him at all, doesn't really interact with people like like Toe Cutter does here.
Right.
Toe Cutter has these tense conversations with people, and you're like, he doesn't even talk to himself for himself in this scene. Right. Because, like you said, Johnny the Boy gets off, takes off his helmet, combing his hair back. One of the fucking creepiest, most wonderful scenes I've ever seen. He's dancing, prancing. He's got the little scarf around his neck.
He's got the little Zippo hanging from Johnny the Boy.
Yeah, he
Zippo
always wears
from
that
a
little
necklace.
yeah.
Well, yeah, because like my backstory for Johnny was always rich kid slumming.
Yep.
Wants street cred by hanging with these guys. That's got to be his backstory. And that's why I believe he's got to have like parents that have some kind of power, and that's why Toe Cutter wants him, like much like Thulsa Doom had the princess in his kind of because he wants to like move up.
Right. It's either that or he just realizes this kid is gonna do anything I want from me. He's striving to be with me.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Johnny and Bubba sees it from the start.
Yeah.
Johnny is a fucking fuck up asshole.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It's Toe Cutter. It's like he sees him as a project. Like, I'm going to tame this kid.
I don't even know if I'd say it is about taming him.
No, I think it is because he's like, I'm going to control, because this kid's wild and I'm going to get him to do, because like we were saying, he's Thulsa Doom. He's a mind guy. Yeah. He's not a muscle guy.
Yeah. I guess I could see that.
So he's kind of like, this kid's a challenge. He's a project for me.
Right. Just to prove Yeah, you remember Johnny the boy? He was a mess. He was the boy. Now he's Johnny the man.
Right.
I like that a lot, actually.
Right.
Okay.
So now we're like, well, why are they in this town? Well, they're here to pick up the remains of the Knight Rider.
That's right. And this conversation again is fucking amazing because the boys just walk right by this old man who's standing out on the road, just kind of watching it, but not even caring. He's just kind of like standing there. Boys are walking in front and behind him, and then finally, to his side behind him, Bubba stops and goes, What did he ask? Is the train in yet? We're coming for our friend, I think is what he said to him.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, your friend's coming on the train? Well, I mean, there's nothing but food and a coffin. And he's like, that's our friend.
Right. And they go to the train track, and we see this tiny little coffin, the remains, what's left of Knight Rider.
Right. And someone yells at it like, did they tear his fucking heart out? It's like, I guess they did. The train guy doesn't know what the fuck to do in this situation.
Right. He on the inside, he's freaking out. He's
Oh, yeah.
trying to play it cool.
He does a great job of playing it cool, but yeah, you know he's freaking the fuck out.
And
His fly's not even done. Did you notice that?
And yes, I did. And Toe Cutter can sense that, so he wants to add more fuel to the fire. So
Right.
he's just like, "Who is this guy? He's just some fucking gang, like some biker dude." And he like grabs the guy's face.
This scene was so incredible too. Just how he shot it and everything. Yeah, he's got his thumbs on his chin and his index fingers going up towards his ears. He's just
Remember the Knight Rider when you look into the night sky. And he's like, whatever you say, man, I like that.
Yeah.
Whatever I say, what a wonderful philosophy you have.
So good. Oh.
And then he's like, boys, take him. He goes, whew. And apparently that's supposed to mean kill this guy, like get rid of him.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. So
But it wasn't.
So Johnny and Bubba take off because he needs a moment alone with the Knight Rider because these guys apparently had a close fucking bond.
It was okay. I feel like you got that wrong there because he says take care of him, and then he makes another gnarled noise at them,
He goes,
and they all acknowledge it. And then he says he tells Johnny and Bubba like, and then they go off, and so we're left there just seeing that Toe Cutter wants to hang out with Knight Rider by himself for a little while. We go back to the town and see all the goofs are fucking around with all the townsfolk and everything.
yeah, they're fucking burning donuts on the ground with their motorcycle.
That's right.
Doing the fucking tattoo symbol. It's a circle with a line through it.
Right, and we see that on all their faces.
Toe Cutter gang.
Yeah. So they're having some fun. They're fucking with the local young couple that I had mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, they've got their arm around the girl. She's got a milkshake.
She's loving it. She's like ready to join the gang.
Of course she is.
Yeah.
I
She
mean-
wants to get the fuck out of this town.
Exactly. And so the one guy, Mudkip, you said his name was?
Mudguts.
Mudguts slurps up some and spits it out on her boyfriend who shoves him. And then he runs away. So fucking I was going to call him Cunnilingus. I think it was
Kundalini.
Kundalini. He's like playing along with it. And he's like, I shove you, you shove me. They're doing a song and dance like West Side Story.
They go, push me, shove you.
Push me, shove you.
And they go into a room. They go in the building. That guy's hiding.
Yeah, Kundalini opens the door and welcomes them in so they can beat the shit out of this guy. And then we see him drag him out and fucking ride.
No, they throw him through the door.
Oh, they throw him to the door.
They were going to throw him through a window, but they couldn't afford a window.
okay.
So they threw him through this like screen door. And then, yeah, they tie him. Did you also notice? I thought I was kind of worried about this. They had the one biker had a dog sitting on the back of the fucking bike.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yes.
Oh, I'd be worried about that if I noticed
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I don't
And
like
then so because when they're doing the burnout, the dog's barking. That's their dog. That's not like the
right.
city's dog. So
Oh.
the dog's loving the burnout. So yeah, they start dragging the fucking kid, and then that's the couple like, well, here's our time. Let's get the fuck out of here because we're gonna be next because there's only 5 people in this fucking town.
Oh, okay. So when you think this is why toe cutters are worried about this?
I think I think Toe Cutter's worried they're gonna go to the cops.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to be revealed yet.
Yeah, as we learn later, witnesses are a big deal.
Right. So the couple take off in the classic car, and then fucking Toe Cutter hears it, so he runs.
He hears the engine rev up, and we see him start running. And we get to see the continuity of like where the train yard was compared to this downtown.
Right. And so Toe Cutter, he doesn't have time for guns. He's got a fucking meat cleaver.
So good.
And he drives up to it and just chops the fucking windshield. They fucking,
bail on the road.
Fucking wipe out. And they just fucking attack this fucking poor couple. They're like putting fucking metal rods through the fucking top of the car.
It's a mess.
And it ends with them just dragging the girl and the guy out, and you're like, holy shit, what the fuck are they going to do to these kids?
Really, we don't know. We saw them drag the one guy out on a motorcycle, so whatever savagery they're coming up with, it's savage.
Right, and the brilliance of George Miller, he leaves it to our imagination. There's not a lot of fucking violence in this movie.
That's what I love. The Dentist gave us a lot of horrible visual effects that were terrorizing me. But this movie leaves it up to imagination. Perfect place to leave it.
Much in the same vein, the movie you think is worse than what was that movie? What the fuck? The guy with the chicken. I got molested in the little boy's room. Night Killer. The movie that Griff thinks is worse than Night Killer, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is another movie that you don't see hardly any gore, but people in their head think it's a lot gorier than it is. That's the same with this movie. People think it's a lot more violent than it really is.
Wasn't that violent?
So Max and Goose are just chilling out. Some guy's got like this kind of cool chopper, like the sidecar thing.
With a dome for the sidecar? Yeah.
But it really wasn't a sidecar because it was part of the chopper. Like, it was weird.
I don't know. But it had a beautiful woman in it.
Yeah, and they were just, and Goose, he's a beautiful broad. He's got a chopper.
Doesn't matter if her boy's with her. Doesn't give a fuck.
And then, like, Max is like, hey, the American version. Goose, you got a call. So he's like, all right. And then he goes to walk away. And then he's like, pulls out this little card, hands it to the guy. He's like, what's this?
Get out of free jail card.
And they're like, oh, these guys. And so they go to the call where the people have been attacked.
And this is, again, so many favorite scenes in this movie. They're rolling up and they see this guy running out because they're getting close to the scene. Right. See this guy running out naked. And
well, he's got no pants on.
Oh,
he
he
has a top on.
It's not even a full sweater.
It's a sweater vest. Yeah.
It was a sweater vest that only went down to like his belly button. It was the strangest thing. We see the whole thing when he's in town. Yeah, so he's running off, and you can see his butt cheeks, Abra. But unlike us, we don't like irritation around the butthole. This guy had some red ass cheeks.
Well, yeah. The implication is not only did she get raped, he got raped.
Yeah.
So obviously he's traumatized by this. So like Goose doesn't know what's going on. So he's just like, "Hey, fella!" He's got like a fucking God damn it, I don't know. Air blaster. Well, that's what they call it in Australia. The Jimmy Hart thing. What's it called?
No, air horn.
Not air horn. That's the thing. It's the bullhorn. Bullhorn.
Everyone hates us now.
Hey, fella, stop. Hey, we're going to love this turkey. Hey, you're a turkey.
Goose is perfect.
It's like, you know what I like to think now, like now that we're in more progressive times, can we get away from the like anytime a woman gets raped is awful, which it is, but anytime a man gets raped in a movie, it's comedy.
Yeah.
This guy got fucked in the ass, all right?
Obviously, they couldn't perceive that. Maybe they couldn't see his red butt cheeks.
It's the 70s. That was the mentality we had.
Yeah, no.
Don't drop the soap. It's all that kind of. It's always funny when a guy gets raped in a movie.
I hate when people are just like, oh, he's going to jail. Time to get butt. I think that's a horrible thing.
Like, like you wrote a bad check. You deserve to be butt raped for a fucking year.
Exactly. Like, there's people that deserve some horrible things, but let's fucking, like, tone it down.
So this, the car is just trashed. It's shit scattered everywhere. We see the fucking symbol of the toe cutter gang burned into the road. And
then we see Johnny the boy just hanging out there.
They ripped out the fucking chairs of the car, and he's in the middle of the road sitting in the chair.
Seat.
High as fuck. He's just fucked up on, I don't know what, eucalyptus. I don't know what.
I love this about this movie, too, because you're like, clearly he's high, but what the fuck is going on here? He was with his boys. Now he's with this girl. He's holding on to her with the rope.
Because he's a loose cannon. Like, the rest of the gang did their shit and this moved on, and he's just like, no, I'm going to stay.
Why did he?
I think he just wanted to fuck with that girl somewhere because he's got her on a leash.
Yeah.
So she's like hiding in the car.
Were the remains of the car.
And she's got the fucking shag carpet wrapped around her from the fucking pimp mobile. So like Goose shows up. He's like, all right. He's like, Max is checking out Johnny. He's like checking his fucking pupils. Like, this guy is fucked up on some shit. I don't know what.
Johnny's trying to run through the lines that Toe Cutter had used about Knight Rider when you look up into the night sky, but he grifts it and he's like, air horn, air horn, air horn.
Knight Rider, hey baby. He's just like babbling. Like
He's going Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. Get with the Knight Rider.
So Goose sees the girl. He's like, hey, don't worry, we're here to save you. She's obviously fucked up, as you would be after you're experiencing that shit.
Right.
Picks her up, puts her in the car. And he's like, Knight Rider! And they're like, what are we going to do with this fucking moron, you know? All right, so they arrest Johnny. So now we got to see, well, if Johnny's there, what is Toe Cutter and his gang doing?
Right, exactly. How do they get separated or anything? I guess they really are like the fucking Mongols. They just kind of roam around, and again, whatever land they're on, that was theirs, so whatever.
So we see, Griff and I differ on this scene. Not the scene so much as what's happening, because I guess because they wanted to have the motorcycles appear faster than they are. They did fast forwarding on it, which I found jarring. I didn't like it, but you said it fit in with what we're watching.
I just like, because it feels like a nice way. Like, we saw this first when they were chasing down the car.
Yeah. And
I like it because it makes it a little bit more intense. What I like about it, though, is they use it for maybe 3 or 4 or 5 seconds.
Well, part of it was with the MFP cars, they were such shitty cars that they said when they go above like 55, they start shaking.
Yeah.
So they had to like
do it when they were doing like 40.
Yeah. And then there's a scene in Road Warrior where they do it with the Interceptor, but it makes sense because it's a fucking Ford Falcon. It's not an off-road vehicle. So when he's driving on the dirt, you would fuck a car up going like 80 miles an hour. So I understand why they had to do it. I just wish I don't know. I was going to say, like, you could go back, do it George Lucas and fix it, but no, leave it as it is.
I like it. Of course, we were talking about Roald Dahl earlier. Just leave the blemishes in there so we can, like, understand where he was at the time and talk about that in context as opposed to, hey, let's fix this so everyone can read it with the modern eye. No, that's not the way we're supposed to perceive these things. Right. So I think it's interesting because I think they used it in Furiosa too, or Fury Road.
I don't remember.
I feel like they used the speed up. It just became,
I had to have looked better than this because
I'm sure it did
because
they
technology
exactly. But I'm pretty sure they still used it in that because it just became a George Miller kind of associated effect. Which
well, anyway. Toe Cutter is in the back of a truck with the casket holding Knight Rider's remains, and he's blessing. He's got like a cross. He's blessing the riders as they drive by the truck.
Again, another beautiful scene. Another amazing Toe Cutter scene.
And the only one left is Bubba, and he pulls the car over or motions for Bubba to stop.
And Bubba is one of his top guys.
That's like his right-hand man.
Yeah. We always have a right-hand man. Mungus had, what's his name? Wes. And so Toe Cutter has Bubba.
And Bubba's got fucking Johnny figured out. If I was going to be any member of Toe Cutter's gang, I would be Bubba's and Eddie because I would be so irritated by Johnny. I would want to kill his fucking ass.
100% correct.
And he's like, because they're like, he's like, where is Johnny? And he's like, he's fucking still at that, where we just fucking attack those people. Go get him, Bubba. He's like, fuck that guy.
Oh no, Bubba already knew he got picked up by the police.
Oh, okay.
And so he's telling him, your fucking boy got picked up again being a fuck up. And he's like, I'm not going to fucking help him. I'm done with him. He's a scrag. He's a scrog. He's got nothing.
He's a sprog.
He's a sprog. But Toe Cutter sees it a different way. You'll get him. Oh, I'm not doing shit for him. Yes, you're not doing shit for him. You're doing it for me.
He's like, we must teach him, Bubba. And he's just like, fuck, all right, fucking motherfucker. So we just see the power of Toe Cutter. Yeah. Even this guy who seems like he's his own man bends at the will of fucking Toe Cutter.
Right.
So, all right, back at MFP HQ. This is must be like few weeks from now. That was amazing how like the timeline's kind of weird because we had Goose with the fucking cast on, and then in the scene where they pick up the girl, he doesn't have the cast anymore. But it can't be that far away because Knight Rider's remains. Like, how long were Knight Rider's remains being like left?
I thought he did have the cast on when he was talking to the girl.
I don't remember that. I thought he was fine.
Oh, I'm thinking of when he was talking to the girl in the motorbike, but that was the same day. Because he had like a full white thing on too.
Okay. Well, that would make sense why he'd be in the car instead of riding his bike. So maybe they did.
That's why he was in the car.
But so this is a little ways down. So Johnny, once again, is why I think Johnny's a rich kid because he's got a suit now. He's got a lawyer. Like they're waiting to pick him up to take him to court.
Well, I thought they dressed him up to go to court. The MFP did because they were saying, "Did you dress that kid up?"
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, Murray. There's so much that happens.
You know why I couldn't understand it? Because Charlie had his voice box. They're coming for Charlie.
I see the interceptor. But no, I watched it with closed captioning on, so I caught some more of like, because the soft woman dispatcher, March Hare, which is you and me, we're March Hares. Yeah, she mentioned that they needed to dress up.
Oh, good.
What's his name for his trial?
And he's just still fucking out of it. He's just fucking. I think they got him in shackles.
Yeah, this is amazing. Another amazing scene. We're seeing the insides of the MFB. It's shit.
Yeah, it was an abandoned sewage treatment facility.
It looks it. Oh. It looks like hell. There's shit all over the walls.
Bare light bulbs. There's fucking the skeleton of walls and shit.
Right.
The frames.
Johnny is just propped up on a desk. Goose has put his helmet on like a coat rest up there, and he's flicking quarters, but intentionally missing them to hit Johnny in the face.
Right.
Just so he can be like, oh, no, I'm playing this game. I'm sorry that your client's in the way of it.
And Johnny's so out of it, he doesn't even notice.
Johnny's, he's probably coming down from wherever he was fucked up on or something. Or he's just discouraged that he got caught.
I don't know, but Fifi shows up with a couple guys in suits, and he's just like...
He pulls Max aside.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to have to let him go. None of the witnesses showed.
Hey there, Max. You're going to have to sit on the goose. Sit on the goose. No contest.
Right. And so the lawyer's like, unshackle my client here. And Goose is like, what the fuck? I thought we were going to court. And he's like, nobody showed, man. And then we get a little detail. I don't know if you picked up on this. Fifi's like, the fucking girl was like the town pump. Everybody fucked this girl, so nobody's going to believe that she got raped.
Whoa.
So, like, yeah, it was like nobody showed. So what probably happened was the guy that got raped, he probably was just driving through town. He met her, was fucking her, and then he was going to, like, move on or whatever.
Oh.
That's because they said she's just like the town slut kind of thing.
That's really interesting.
But... That's a really awkward way of Fifi trying to calm Goose down. But don't worry, she was just a whore, so it was kind of like, it's not that big a deal that Johnny's getting off.
I mean, he kind of, like, again, he brushed over that. I picked up on the part where he said, not a single fucking soul showed. The bikers, of course, didn't show. The boy didn't show.
Nobody from the town didn't show.
Nobody from the town showed. The girl, of course,
Right.
Terrible.
And so Goose flips out. He's like, no, fuck this shit. This fucker ain't getting off.
So we got a whole scuffle happening here. They're trying to hold Goose back. Johnny realizing he's a free boy. Free Johnny the boy. He's like kind of mocking Goose, calling him a punk and everything.
Was like, hey, Goose, see you around. And then he slaps the back of his head twice. Like,
is that a dick sucking thing?
Hey, any Australians, can you tell us, is that a thing you guys do?
Man.
But that infuriates Goose. Goose runs outside, starts pummeling the shit out of him. Bubba's like waiting out there. They have the remains of the car. Their kids are like jumping on it and shit.
Right, kids are just having fun.
Hey, mister, what do you think happened to this car?
What do you think happened to it?
It's like, I don't know. It got real messed up.
Did someone chew it up and spit it out?
Maybe a result of anxiety.
That's like George Miller got today's youth. That would resonate. Anxiety.
So he's just out there waiting. Fucking Goose is pummeling the shit out of fucking thing. Oh, I'm gonna have my we're gonna bring you guys up on on charges and all this shit.
This is, again, what's so interesting about this world is that it's like everything's tattered. There's barely any city remaining. We saw what was supposed to be a downtown area. It's desolate. It looks like fucking, God damn it. Who was our summer boy last year? Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
In the Forever Man.
Omega Man.
Where the city is just vacant. That's kind of what this city looks like at this point. But they're still trying to adhere to some threads of the law.
Right.
And at this, it's fucking wonderful.
Well, and Fifi can understand. He's like, can see the morale. There's like 5 cops left in the whole fucking area. He's like, look, long as the paperwork's clean, do whatever the fuck you guys got to do.
I'm glad you remembered that part because that was such an important part. Because it's just like you can't accept that these people who are trying to kind of fight for justice are going to be able to accept this. They know this kid's up to fucking no good.
Right.
But it's
All right, so if you're in a biker gang, sometimes you got to go to the beach and just hang out.
Well, we learned that's what they're doing. They're just heading out on the beach, relaxing, having a good time. They're just enjoying the thrills of life. And it's not behind a screen, Murray.
I just love they're on a beach. They're still wearing their leathers. They're all leathered up.
Oh, yeah, no, you never take your leathers off.
Even if it's 80 degrees.
You're a leather daddy for life.
Right.
We're in Australia, after all.
And they had some chicks with them. Was the chick from the town like with them now? Because it was like a redheaded chick. I don't know if it was the same one.
I think it might have been because there was 2 of them, and I don't remember. I don't remember.
And the scamps, Mudrot and Kundalini, they found a mannequin. They're just like, hey, check this out, man. They're making out with it. They're the cut-ups of the gang, the comic relief.
Exactly. And that's when I didn't even notice this the first time, but Bubba comes over because he's disgusted by the scene. Murray, of course, disgusted by seeing his, So he whispers into Toe Cutter's ear like, "Juveniles are no good for the image," or something. It was something about juvenilia.
Yeah, but because it is. It's fucking stupid what they're doing.
Right.
And he's just like, why am I part of this gang?
Right.
Like,
He's serious all the time.
That's the thing. I want to know their story because Carter had to have saved his life or some shit.
Exactly.
That he would put up with all this bullshit.
This is what
because he's always. That's what I love about Bubba. He's always on the periphery. He's never involved with the shenanigans ever.
Right.
He's always on the outside looking out. He's like, I don't want anything to do with this shit.
Right. Like, he'll let the goose be the goose, but at this moment, he was just like, I'm done. I've had enough of the goose today. So he goes over. He's fucking playing with this giant, like, holster that you can see. It's a full enclosed, but he keeps one of those fucking, it looks like the Luger pistol. We had a conversation about that a while ago, because I think it was in Turkey Shoot.
It was called, it was in the IMDb. It was a Mauser is what it's
called.
But it is like an old, like Nazi gun.
Yeah. So we had the Mauser gun. And so he's fiddling with it, and he's telling Toe Cutter, like, we got to fucking cut this little shenanigan out. And so Toe Cutter is wearing, like, a space blanket.
And he's holding a shotgun.
So amazing. The double-barrel shotgun. He throws back the space blanket to reveal his shotgun that he's got next to his face and fires a round off. Can you imagine?
Right next to his ear, yeah.
How horrible. I mean, he can probably barely hear as it is because of all the motorcycle riding, but then again, the helmet might muffle it, but still, amazing.
Yeah, and he tells Kundalini to put the fucking mannequin up against this, like, driftwood. And
he's going a whole spiel. The Browns sent to here because the Browns likes us sweet. Got a straw man this mannequin into being the force that's trying to stop them.
Right. He's always playing mind games to keep these guys under control.
He's a politician.
Right. And fucking Bubba pulls out that gun, and he gets where he's aiming. He's going to shoot that mannequin.
That's right.
Because he wants as much of his own man as he is, he still wants that approval from fucking Toe Cutter.
That's right.
And he's about to do it, and then Johnny just grabs the shotgun from Toe Cutter and just blows that mannequin away.
You know, I was struggling to figure out this scene, but you're right. It was Bubba trying to take the credit for, like, ending the fun and everything. And then Johnny realized this is a chance to score points after he just got imprisoned.
Right. Well, that too, and it's also to show how out of control he still is. Like, he doesn't know his place yet. And he's like, he doesn't respect Bubba. So he's like, even though he sees Bubba's doing the thing, he's like, no, I'm going to do the thing.
Right. And he even tells, as he collapses to his knees here, Johnny the Boy starts going in, if you got to get the bronze, you got to do it big, big. And he had the shotgun or whatever it was.
Right. And like, Toe Cutter sees, it's like, I got to rein this kid in. So he's like, come with me, Johnny. He grabs him by his tie and takes him out into the fucking
he's going to lose Bubba if he doesn't do this.
Right. Takes him out into the water, puts the fucking gun into Johnny's mouth.
Tells him, he's just quietly telling him, everything's going to be okay. You fucking listen to me. Everything's going to be okay.
And then they just walk off into the sunset, into the water.
Honestly, despite seeing this movie, 9 or 10 times before, I was like, does Johnny ever return to this movie? Did they just walk him into the... He does.
Yes, he does.
It was like I was watching the movie for the first time. I felt so embarrassed because I really like this movie, and I watched it again. Just a whole new world.
Well, are you ready for a licorice ride, Griff? Because that's where we're going next.
Woo! The licorice ride!
Yeah, we get some chicks singing this song at a club. Goose is loving it.
Oh my God, he's pumping his fist. He's drinking his beer. She's licking her lips at him.
Right.
He's licking his lips right back at her.
And something tells me there's something. It's not. This song isn't about candy. I think there's some some metaphors going on that I'm not picking up on.
I'm not picking
even after
up
my
on it.
fucking 12th viewing. I was like,
Yeah.
I know there's something there.
When she picked up the licorice rope and was grinding it between her taintal areas, I was like, I don't know. I thought this was an innocent song and they're trying to dirty it up.
I thought it was like a cut song from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Willy Chonka and
Willy
the Wonka
Wonka.
Factory.
Willy Chonka. That was the Australian version, Willy Chonka. It was just chocolate covered eucalyptus leaves. That's all they ate. But Goose is getting the message loud and clear.
Goose understands every use of it, euphemism in the world.
While that's going on, we're out in the parking lot. We see this mysterious figure tampering with Goose's motorcycle.
Which, to the people who watch this movie and have Griff syndrome, you think it's Max just at home working on his car.
Yeah, if you're Griff, you think that. If you're paying attention, you notice it. You don't know who it is yet. You just know it's somebody fucking with his bike.
Yeah.
Cut to the next morning. Like you said, George leaves the violence and the fucking to your imagination. But we know Goose rocked that pussy all night long.
That's right. We see him get out of the bed, and he does the right thing. He puts on his clothes, and then he turns just to appreciate the job he did.
She's wiped out.
Fleshy white butt cheeks just flapping in the breeze. She's wiped the fuck out.
He just tore that shit up.
That's right.
And he's like, another satisfied customer. Walks out. Get a nice look. She nailed a Cupid doll to her apartment door.
Again, details, people.
Right.
Like, I'm so bored of these high budget movies that look like model houses. Fucking details. Like these little things. They go such a long way. Because idiots will notice them and get tattoos of them.
Yeah. Because sometimes people in movies think like people can afford these giant McMansions and shit in real life, and that's probably why people want McMansions, because they see that and they think that's what I'm supposed to have.
Right?
No, you're supposed to live in a fucking shitty ass 1-bedroom apartment with a Cupid doll nailed to the front door.
One of my favorite things about Arrested Development, it's mocking the McMansion luxury, and yet still a big thing.
So Goose jumps on his bike, heading to work. Meanwhile, we see Johnny hiding out in a car.
Yeah, it just wakes up when he hears Goose taking off, gets up, puts the lighter to his arm. Ouch, that hurt so bad.
Right, because he's realized he's not so tough as he thinks he is.
It's an interesting little... Like, this scene should be studying classes. I'm sorry, not to intellectualize this movie, but that scene, that was kind of perfect for Johnny. Like you said, the fucking middle-class kid who wants to get away from his parents ends up, he's a misunderstood punk.
Exactly. He starts falling. And so we're now like, we're putting it together. So that was Johnny tampering with his bike. And lo and behold, Goose, he's out on the open plains. He's just letting it loose. The throttle's wide open. something fucking, whatever he did, fucks with the car, flies off the road.
That's right. So you're expecting at any minute, because Music Man, Brian De Palma, not that one, got this tense music going here. Goose is laid out on the ground. He recovers.
Brian De Palma?
What'd you say?
Brian May. Brian De Palma's a
Director.
Well, whose movies we will be doing in our sex thriller month.
There we go.
By the way, so good fucking tease. He meant to do that.
I meant to do that. So Goose is laid out in the grass, and you're like, oh, shit, Goose is not good. The music's getting tense, and, you know, we're watching a movie, so, of course, when the music starts getting tense, we know that Johnny the boy's after him and everything. You're like, fuck, something bad's about to happen here. Right. He goes for his radio. He's calling in, hey, it's me. It's the Goose. It's the Goose. Oi. And then he finally, like, reveals, he lifts up a little higher. The wire's been cut.
Well, this is probably Goose's 5th concussion in this movie. I mean, so, yeah.
Exactly. So you're just like, oh, shit. Well, should I feel tense here? Because next thing you know, Goose is up. He's walking around. He's down the road. He found a guy with a truck.
Right. He's like, hey, can I use your truck?
I'm with the MFB.
He's like, sure, whatever. I got this 10-speed with me. I'll use.
Amazing.
The guy even loads Goose's bike up for him.
Helps him load his bike up. And he's like, hey, when am I going to get my truck back? He's like, don't you worry about you. The Goose never goes down. I might get a concussion or two, but the noggin's still a rockin'.
And so he's just driving. We're like, what's going on here? I thought Johnny was going to get him. And
I know.
He's singing some weird song.
Driving down the road, punching the roof of this fucking truck. It's got those little flourishes of the Mad Max world details, because it's like there was a tube going outside into the car for some reason. Like, there's so much weird shit that I just love to appreciate about this world.
He's rocking Olympus' brake stuff. He's having a great time. Speaking, and that's the allusion to what's going to happen, brake stuff, because we see Johnny, he's like on a hillside along the road, has like a fucking car rim, throws it, perfect fucking microwave timing.
As much of a
How many times did he practice that before? You know he did.
He had to have practiced.
That's probably why he didn't attack Goose at that moment, because he's like, I got to practice my throwing.
That might have been it. Either way, that was perfect, and the edit, like the cut they did for that scene, because he tosses it. You see the car coming in a frame, and his arm is like completely in the shot, so you can't see like the fluid shot. Oh, it's so good.
And it hits the windshield. Goose loses control, flips over off on the side of the road.
Lands on the roof. And so he's sitting in there, and we see that
he's
the
like
gas...
strapped in with these. He's probably the only person in '79 who wears a seatbelt.
That's right.
And he can't get the fuck out. Johnny and Toe Cutter roll up.
Yeah, Toe Cutter is fucking loving this, because he's like, this is the boy's opportunity.
Right. Yeah, this is the initiation. He's finally, because he doesn't have the tattoo. He's not an official member of the Toe Cutter gang.
That's right.
And he pulls out a fucking home rolled cigarette. He's like, light me, Johnny.
Johnny pulls out his little lighter that he keeps around his neck.
No, with this. Pulls out a match.
Strike anywhere.
Lights it off of Toe Cutter's zipper, his crotch zipper.
Of course.
With lights it. Good job. And he's like, look at that bronze, Johnny. He looks kind of funny. And they're like laughing at him because Goose is struggling. Gas is pouring out and shit. Goose is struggling.
Now, Johnny, pull out another match.
And he lights it. He's like, throw it on him. He's like,
no!
Shit's finally getting real for Johnny. He's always been playing around.
Right. He was the one telling them, when you're going to take on the bronze, you got to think big. Biggie boppies.
Right.
No Vegemites.
Toe Cutter's calling him out. And he's like, I can't do it. He bitches out.
Toe Cutter's literally shaking up. This is your moment, boy.
Amazing match that's still lit with all this struggling going on.
Yeah, it's getting to his fingertips. You hear him, I can't stand the pain. I can't stand the pain. I can't take it.
Fucking great foreshadowing. We saw him try to burn himself and he couldn't take it. And now he can't take it now.
Sorry, this movie is just amazing.
And he throws it. Well, he doesn't throw it. It just gets thrown.
It gets thrown. It gets jarred because it burns him too much, so he drops it. But the dry grass and everything, Australia after all. And so the whole fucking lawn goes up, and then it leads itself over to the gas fire.
Blows up. Our Goose is cooked.
Goose is cooked.
We're at the fucking hospital. Max shows up, runs past everybody because they're trying to stop. Like, no, you don't want to see this, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, get out of my way.
All of his MFP colleagues are trying to tell him, no, you don't want this.
And he goes in this room, dark room. There's like a fucking sheet covering.
Yeah, it's
Goose.
like a whole little operation tent because they're trying to keep an atmosphere.
It's probably supposed to be an oxygen tank, but it's just a fucking sheet.
Yeah, it's just sheet.
And he's like, what the fuck? And then he walks up to it, and this like shriveled little hand, which was the woman who played May later on. That was her hand.
Oh, cool.
So it's because she's a smaller woman, it makes him look like he's shriveled.
Yeah.
And Max is like, what the fuck? And then he pulls away, and then we get that weird kind of fucking like almost pussy fog effect where there's like
it was like a haze for Max, and it's just kind of like,
And then we get that this really jarring fucking music.
It was good.
And he's just like, oh my God. And he walks out, and they're like, Max, what the fuck? He's like, that's not the fucking goose. That ain't the goose. I don't know what the fuck. And they're like trying to get him to just understand, like, Goose, he's not dead, but he's severely fucked up.
Right. What we're establishing there is that you hear breathing when he walks in the room.
Yeah.
Max sees
you get
breathing.
the thing, the beep beep that we get in
and
there.
that as well. And then of course the hand pulls out, and it's all.
Should they even like? I didn't have that when I was in the hospital. They didn't put a fucking beep beep. I was waiting for that. I wanted.
You wanted that?
Yeah.
Nurse, I can't relax. Give me the beeps.
Right. I don't know if I'm alive.
I don't know.
If I hear that.
So Max returns home. He's struggling to sleep.
He has a nightmare. Wakes up from a nightmare.
Yeah. Heads down. We see he's got like they got beachfront fucking property out here in the Hicks.
Yeah.
And so
he's the highest paid cop in Australia because he's the best.
You got to park that car somewhere discreet, too. That fucking yellow with all the fucking skags after him. You got to be very careful. You played the Mad Max game. Did they call them skags in that?
Sure, I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay.
That was more of a Fury Road based.
Yeah.
Game. It was a good game.
Did you ever play the NES?
I saw it when I was the guy who does that thing. I keep that YouTube channel. I keep fucking promoting the Mad Max Bible. He did something on the video games.
Okay.
There's check out that video. It's a very interesting story about.
Oh, did
Mad
you
Max.
watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. He only has like a dozen. Like, how much can you talk about like the Mad Max series? He only has like 10 or so episodes.
Again, some of these YouTube people like they wear out their welcome. Like I love it when people do like that, the thing they're fucking invested in, and then they're just done. Right. That's amazing. Like we're doing this.
Well, he'll give you updates on when there's new shit, like the Furiosa movie. I think he's got, but I didn't watch that.
I think that's cool too. Yeah, but it's like his wheelhouse. This is what brings me to this. I want to have conversations with people about that. And
so he's ready to fucking quit. He has a heart-to-heart with Jess. He's like eating a peanut butter and honey sandwich.
That's right.
She knows when he's eating the peanut butter and honey, he's upset.
That's right.
That's how he self-soothes himself. And he's just like, fuck, I'm gonna quit. And she's like, yeah, I think you should. So he goes up to Fifi. Fifi's got the fucking classical music playing, and he knows it. When he does he goes to Amoeba Records to What's in My Bag, Fifi's like, no, I know who this is. I don't just see classical and assume that I'm fucking intellectual. I know this fucking shit.
No, it's the best of classical with all the names people know that pull from for the What's in My Bag. And then there's the Fifi collection where you have to shop by name.
Right.
Weird.
Curated by Fifi.
Yeah.
And apparently he lives at the fucking police station.
Yeah, well, there was the loft like up, and it was like 5 stories up there. Like we look down the staircase, it winds a while.
So he's just relaxing. He's got his shirt off, but got his nice scarf on.
Love him. Again, everything about the just little details of this movie.
And he's watering his plants. He's got a soft side. He's not just the badass.
He's got a bird too.
He got everything.
Beautiful little. Excuse me, Budgie.
And Max is like, I'm done. What do you mean, Max? I'm done. I'm getting to the point. I'm enjoying this shit. I don't want to become like fucking these sickos.
Right. Max, you know my creed. The world needs heroes, Max. You, me, heroes.
Yeah, because he's like, there are no heroes anymore. We're all just fucked up. We're going to bring the heroes back, Max. Yeah. You and me.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm out. Look, Max, I see it. He slaps him on the face, gives him a nice Telly Savalas slap.
He does the grab by the face.
He's like, take a couple weeks off, grow a beard.
Grow a beard. Go to the beach.
Fuck your wife. Give your kid a gun.
Give you a second gun. Give him an AR.
And if you come back and you don't want to, you still believe this, you're scot-free. You can go. You can even have the V8 Interceptor.
That's right. Are you sure? I'm sure. Go on there. Get down there. Get your butt down there before I come on vacation with you.
And he's like, I'm not coming back.
Thief. I love you. This is bye. You didn't say goodbye, though. Do you notice that? Didn't say goodbye.
Okay.
This is bye. All right, Rock. All right, Max. He gets a couple stairs down there. Rockatansky! You'll be back. You're hooked. I love it. It's so good.
All right. So now we're on vacation. We get a nice vacation montage. We get the nice family sedan he bought. It's like a station wagon with some really trashy space graphics on the side. And they pick up a dog. They're doing all this like family shit.
They're buying apples.
Like you
apple
said,
picking.
Sprague is in and out. Sometimes he just goes off and does his own. He's the Bubba Zanetti of their family. Sometimes he goes off and does his own thing.
Exactly. Like that, you see him load up Sprague in one scene, and then in the next scene, they're frolicking in the middle of like a tall grass, wooded area and
Like
everything.
a swimming hole type thing.
And they're fucking in the middle of this tall grass, and you're like, there's children toys here, but there is no child.
Yeah. Well, he's off doing his own thing. You know?
You just
He's
want.
like playing with a rattlesnake or some shit. Like, look what I found dead.
He's the original fuck.
So we get a kind of an awkwardly written scene from George Miller. It's his first movie, people.
It was tough. It was tough.
Where he's talking about walking in his dad's shoes, or
Right.
something.
How he followed his dad, how he looked up to his dad, how he couldn't talk to his dad.
Right. And he's trying to open up to Jesse. We learned that's what he's just a closed off guy. He's trying to open up to Jesse. That's probably the only person in his life besides Goose that he can open up to.
Right. And even Goose, they make it seem like he can't open up to. It's just, there's a side.
Well, that's because Goose can't open up because he's always laughing and joking.
That's right.
You know.
So maybe he's been able to do it in a coded way, but he doesn't want to do it in a coded way.
Yeah.
He's
He wants
trying.
to be vulnerable. This is where we see Max as a vulnerable character.
Yeah.
He's not the badass super cop we all think he is.
And Jess sees, understands, grabs him on the face the same way Fife did, and just lays a fat one on him. And he's like, you can tell me you love me right fucking now.
Right.
It's beautiful.
So we're trying to establish their relationship. There,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
And they did it in, like a 2-minute scene without the child in it.
right.
Sprago.
So now they start some other desolate fucking town. They stop in to get a spare tire repaired.
Right.
We meet another grease monkey. This guy actually is a friend of George Miller and was a consultant on Fury Road script.
Really?
Yeah, just a small grease monkey role.
Interesting.
And they're just talking shit. He's like, hey, where are you guys from? He's just making conversation. And they're
Right,
like,
he was all of the conversation. Yeah. He was very one-sided conversation. Which way you guys going? Have you ever seen a rock before? Full of it.
They call me Rockatansky for a reason.
That's right. My dad was a geologist.
And fucking Jesse's bored with this. She's like, I think Sprague, he said he wants some ice cream.
Sprago here has convinced me he wants some ice cream, Max. So
Vegemite flavored ice cream.
We gotta head down the old rickety road here. Pick us up some of that icy.
Yeah. Milk bar. They want to go to a milk bar. That's what they say.
Moloko Plus?
Yeah. Well, that's why Sprague wants it. So they're like, we're going to go get some of that ultra violence. They drive off to this fucking milk bar.
That's right.
I guess that's what they call ice cream shops in Australia.
I guess it is.
Because it was called a milk bar.
It was called the milk bar.
And lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, they picked the same Summerside town that the toe cutter gang's hanging out at.
We see the space fucking artistry on their station wagon pull up to the Moloko bar as we see the bikers like all hinging up.
They're doing yoga. What the fuck was going on? Meanwhile, like, I love Bubba Zanetti just looking off into this fuck. He's just like, I'm disgusted with everything. Just looking off into the sea.
That poor guy. He doesn't know what he's in this, but it's like not him at all. I don't know.
And like Toe Cutter and Kundalini are doing yoga. And they notice a chick. They're like, hey, we're scumbag bikers.
It's my favorite kind of meat. Female. And so as Jesse's walking out of
they say, and it's true, that in America, serving sizes are pretty big, but I thought these were some skimpy-ass ice cream cones.
unless she deep-throated half of it, it was skimp as fuck.
It was like this little half scoop.
Yeah, it really was. Like I said, unless she deep-throated that fucking thing and ate off half it already, it was like an inch off the sugar cone.
Right.
So it was weak. But I love she comes out and you got the two goons. One of them has gone ahead, peeled the banana. He's got the peel in his hand and the banana fruit on his fucking knife. And he's eating it off. Amazing. And then you got the guy in the roof with like a fucking full-on, what's it called, poncho?
Yeah, he's like, meow.
Yeah, he's doing cat noises. Oh.
And then Toe Cutter, he's the leader, so he goes up to her.
Yeah, he finally goes up to her. He's ushering her over to her own car, opens the back seat, or the back.
Yeah, the back window. Whatever.
Where they just throw Sprago in all the time, which is too funny to me.
Right.
70s childcare for you.
And then she goes up to the
Driver's side door.
and he like opens the door, and then
Chivalry's not dead.
and then he grabs her hand holding the ice cream cone.
He does like a gesture to her. Like he takes her hand and does a gesture like...
Because he thinks it's working.
Yeah, he does. He absolutely
Yeah.
He's got that beautiful skunk hair. He's like, I'm sticking my chin out here.
He's high on his own fog, dude. His own smog.
Yeah. And so he like gives her a nod like, I can have a lick of your ice cream. Jesse no-sells it.
She's playing it cool.
Yeah.
Because she knows she's surrounded by like fucking 12 men, you know?
Yeah.
What's she going to do?
No reaction at all. So Toe Cutter goes ahead and just lifts her own hand towards his face so he can take a lick. And you hear someone in the background. Did I write it down here?
No, I don't think
Well,
so.
because somebody says, "Oh, mate, you better be careful of that tongue. He can lick his own eyebrow." Love, you be careful.
And then she gives the old knee to the dick. And then smashes the ice cream, the little there was, into his face. And you know what? Hats off to Hugh Keithburn. Finally, someone's selling a fucking ball shot. He collapses. Like,
Right.
like in movies, people just leap up immediately. No, he sells it.
I love it because he's got all the time in the world to menace anybody he wants to. I love it. He doesn't lose his cool here, doesn't do anything. He's just like, fuck. He's not afraid of being embarrassed in front of his boys. Later on, he confronts her calmly. I love Toe Cutter. He's...
You know who doesn't? Jess, because she gets in the car, peels out, takes off. Kundalini's got like a chain. He whips it at the car, gets yanked out, falls. We're like, fuck, what happened?
Yeah, really, what the fuck happened?
She drives up to the fucking garage. She's like, Max, get in the fucking car. Fuck the tire.
Hey, this man's got a 2-for-1 discount.
What happened to the dog? The dog also disappears every once in a while. Was it in the car? Or did
Yeah.
Or Max? I think Max had it.
Max had it
Okay,
here because
all
he's
right.
telling her about the 2-for-1 deal, holding the dog. But you're right because they pick up the dog and then the dog's gone and then the dog's back and then the dog's gone.
I think Sprague just rides the dog off. They have their own adventures. It's a whole movie series we don't know.
Animated
Mad
series.
Sprague.
HBO Max is gonna pick up the Golan-Globus Theater.
HBO Max.
Yeah, it's gonna pick up our Max Universe series about Sprago and the dog.
So they take off. Then as soon as they get far enough away, they stop. Like she explains what happened. The dog leaps out the fucking window, starts sniffing around the back.
Yeah, they're having a fun conversation. Fucking, I looked at Sprago's face. He thought I was eating a brick. And then Max tells her, like, oh, you probably were, you fucking bitch. And then that's when the dog freaks out.
And they're like, what's going on? I look back. We see poor Kundalini's hand. How would that happen?
I don't know.
His hand like ripped off?
He wrapped it around his wrist really
Well,
good.
he'd be dragged. I don't know.
Well, he didn't drink enough of that Moloko. Plus, Murray, he had brittle bones.
He's like that Godzilla toy I had where the hand shot off for some reason.
Yeah, or maybe he had barbed wired chain link.
Maybe.
He
was
ripped
John Moxley.
It just ripped his hand right off.
So, all right, they're like, oh my God, they call in their buddy Ziggy, who's apparently Max knows. He's like an old country cop, looking like Gene Simmons with a goatee. And he's like, yeah, I called it in. Nobody's asking about this hand. I guess you guys can have it if you want,
Right.
Possession, 9/10 of the law.
I wouldn't freak out about this. It's no big deal. Literally, no big deal.
Well, that shows you how much society's collapsed. That's their attitude.
Exactly.
They're like, yeah, this happens all the time.
Exactly. Don't worry about it. Just, try to maybe stay away from the ice cream shops.
Yeah, so, just go on to May's place. Have a good time, you couple. So they never, is May one of their parents or grandparents or aunt? They never
No
explain
clue.
the relationship.
No clue.
Just some old lady with fucking leg braces on her leg.
I assume maybe Fife told them to come up here or something. Ziggy might have recommended it. But they end up
It's
here.
like a B&B.
Yeah, exactly. But May treats them like family. And Aunt May. Yeah. They seem to treat them like family and everything. So we're coming out. Max is working on the car. He's like, yeah, I got to get this belt fixed, or otherwise the car's going to, fucking overheat in no time.
Right. And she's like, well, I wanted to go to the beach. She's like, I got to work on the car. Sorry. She's like, well, I'll just go by myself with the dog.
You okay with Sprago? Who? What?
Sprague's underneath, like, Dad, hand me a fucking wrench. A wrencho. Because, Australians just add like IE or O to at the end of every word. That's all.
Well, they call it engine a donk, so I don't know where that.
Give me a wrencho there.
I'm getting the donk already.
Padonkadonk.
I'll put a donk.
She takes off, and then May's like, "Hey, if you run into Benno, don't worry. He's like a little boy. Don't." And we're like, "Whoa, I don't know what's going on there."
Trying to ease up on a jump scare we're about to get.
So she goes to the beach, has a good time. She's just swimming a little, laying out with the dog, getting a tan.
We get to establish a shot of her going down to the beach. She has to go through a long forest to get there.
We do get a kind of a reminiscent of Friday. I got a Friday the 13th vibe.
100%.
We see a hand touch like a trunk of a tree.
Yeah. And so we know that somebody's like watching her, and we know that she has to traverse a long way to get to the beach, and goes down the beach. Has a good time. Dog's loving it and everything. They take a nap together.
Right.
And they do like a nice transition of time. Whenever the dog wakes up and just runs off.
Right. And then we see, because she's at the bottom of this cliff face, and we see the toe cutter gang roll up on the top of the cliff.
Yep.
So like, oh shit. All right.
Yep,
No,
exactly.
So she goes walking back. She looking for the dog. Dog's missing.
Not calling for the dog. Dogs usually respond to names. Not babies, which you'll hear her do
well,
in a minute.
in her defense, they just got the dog. So maybe probably didn't give it a name yet. They probably gave him the name like Fred or something.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
They gave him a person name, and they give their kid a dog name.
You're not wrong.
And so then we see people getting through the forest, and we're like, "Oh shit, it's the gang."
It's getting tense. Music's building up. Her heart rate's going up. She's trying to quickly get through the woods here. We have I don't remember. Benno come first or the?
I think Benno came first because she turns it. Well, first we get a John Woo move where like pigeons fly at her face.
Oh, that's right.
And then she's freaked out by that. And she turns and then runs into Benno, who's this big, like mentally
Sling blade.
Sling blade. Okay.
Let's go with that. People will get what you mean.
And by the way, this actor is the only actor besides Mel Gibson to appear in Mad Max and The Road Warrior.
No way. Who was he in Road Warrior?
He was one of the guys tied up to the front of Humongous's truck.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And he's like, ooh, then she freaks out. She's never met this guy.
Yeah.
So she freaks out there. And then she
gives chase to him and puts his hand behind him, anime style, and runs like a goose.
And then she runs into fucking dog. They didn't name the dog.
Yeah, mutilated.
Yeah, hanging from a tree.
Mutilated. Definitely knows that treachery is in these woods now.
Right. So she gets back to the homestead.
Finally shrieks out, and
Right.
that alerts everybody. But she's coming out of the woods as they're approaching the woods, and Benno's right behind her.
Right. And then, so Max grabs the shotgun. Him and Benno go off to see what's going on.
In the woods.
Right. May gets, she gets, we're just talking about Sprague is like forgotten. Because she literally gets Jesse into the house and like, fuck, where's the kid at?
Yeah. She's like, May's telling her, I'm going to call in the Dark One, which is what Mel told her to call, which was why I'm like, well, Mel can't be the Dark One because May, he told May to call the Dark One. And she,
I know, there's confusion.
Whatever. But yeah, she sits Jesse down. Hey, don't worry about it, love. I'm going to get you some tea here in a second. I'm just going to call this in real quick. 5 minutes go by, then Jesse finally goes, Sproggy doggy. I mean, Sprog, my child. The one I birthed, I think. So she goes running out, and like a dog, she calls for him.
Right. And he is not there because he's being held by the Toe Cutter gang. And they're like hanging out by the shed or some shit.
Yeah, they had like a giant garage system going on here.
Right. And one of the gang guys that has no name is holding Sprague.
Yeah,
Kundalini's like holding his fucking severed hand.
Right. Toe Cutter finally comes out. He's got that perfect fucking like Nazi helmet on now.
No, he's got the motorcycle helmet.
It was just a motorcycle helmet?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it...
He had it up, but he had it up, so it was like the eyes were where his forehead was.
Yeah, it just looked like some kind of ornamental...
It was a cool helmet because he had like a snake tongue painted down the middle. It was like, it went down there. It was like a forked tongue.
Maybe I was confusing it for that then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, because he's got the fucking samurai top knot now.
Now he's got the top knot, and he's taking his helmet off. Well, if it isn't our little mother.
Kundalini wants his hand back.
Beautiful. Beautiful line.
And he's just like, then he just starts talking with a Scottish accent. He's like... You know something? You ain't got a sense of humor. You got a pretty face, and if you don't have a sense of humor, it would be really awful if something happened to that pretty face.
If you lost your face, God, so good.
Because it's true. If a woman loses her looks, what good is she? If she doesn't have a sense of humor. And while he's cutting a promo on her, fucking May shows up with her fucking double barrel shotgun.
Right? You're like, oh shit. There's no
They're
way.
laughing at her. Like, this fucking old lady, she ain't gonna do shit.
Right. And she fucking actually fires off one of those rounds into the sky, and they're like,
no, not in the sky. She hits a barrel that they're standing right next to.
oh, okay. And so they're all like, okay.
But they're still kind of like goofing.
Oh, no, they're giggling about it.
And they hand over the baby, Sprague, to Jesse.
They allow themselves to be locked up into one of those little garages.
Right.
It's like the saddest wood door, though.
Yeah.
So, these guys aren't like intimidated by it. They're just like, it's a minor inconvenience.
So Jesse jumps in the car. Remember, Max isn't done fixing it, so foreshadowing. May jumps in. She's like, let's get the fuck out of here. They don't even stop. There's like a gate. Go through the gate. Let's get to the fucking Ziggy. And, so they take off. Max heard that shot, so he's running back.
Right.
The gang easily break out of this fucking flimsy-ass door.
Jump on their bikes, heading right after Jesse and her car. And the car, we watch it go down the road, overheats, completely stalls out. They're like, holy shit. May tells her, get out and run. Right. We look down that road, nothing.
Right. And May has one bullet. She has literally a double barrel shotgun, and she already shot off one of the bullets.
Yep.
So she's gonna stop a gang with one bullet
on motorcycles.
Right. And she misses, and the gang just go around her.
Yep.
Run over.
We just see a child's sandal and ball rolling.
You know what? In the Punisher movie that had John Travolta in it, there was a lot of callbacks to Mad Max in it, and it irritated me. And they did this callback.
They did?
Yes. Fucking, I don't know. Yeah, when his, I guess they had Punisher's wife and kid get run over because he does the exact same scene where the ball and his shoe go into.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's another callback we'll get to later on when we talk about it. But
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, runs her over. Max runs up because he literally got like a block away before the car broke down.
Yeah.
Gang just takes off. They're like, job done. And, he's like crying and shit. And then this is like I said, I can't believe I didn't pick. You're so mesmerized by the action, you're not listening to like minor characters talk.
Right.
So we see her on a gurney, missing an arm. And these guys are like, so we're assuming she's dead. I always did. Yeah. But then I actually listened to the fucking doctors and like, oh, she's super fucked up, but we stabilized her.
Oh, yeah.
So she's still alive.
Oh,
so
yeah.
this shows you how like broken Max is, how mad he is now. He's just, in his mind, she's dead. Like Goose. He's still alive too, but in his mind, they're dead.
That might be it. That might be it. But also, his son did. He
His
gets
son does
confirmation.
die. Yeah, son's
DOA.
dead.
So
Yeah, and they're being very cavalier about it, as doctors would, because they don't know that he's fucking outside the door.
Right.
So it's just like, yeah, that kid got fucked up, you know.
And the nurse
like-
is telling him, like, yeah, man, he's in his own world right now. He's not receiving. He's not communicating.
he's breaking mad
He's breaking man.
right now. So now it's just like,
Max goes back home. He's got to go stare off into that ocean as he loves to do.
no, he's going to stare off into that George Amel mask.
And, well, he's looking at that too. He's also only put one sock on in this scene.
Well, yeah, he's fucked up,
He's mad.
and he's like, time to make the donuts, and he goes into his house. Isn't that a saying? Time to make the donuts.
Yeah,
ready
it
to
is.
kick ass?
It's a saying. It's a saying.
Opens up his fucking hope chest with all his fucking policeman gear.
Well, I love how he covered it with other things, and then he's like, nope, I want the real shit now. Clears all the bullshit out of the way, and there it is, the leather.
Right. And goes to the fucking parking garage, gets in the Interceptor, takes off looking for these fucking assholes.
He goes straight for the repair shop, the one that he visited while Jesse had gone to the ice
Grease
cream
Monkey's
shop.
underneath the car working on it. He like pulls the guy out. Where are those guys at? I don't know anything, man.
The guy scoops himself back under.
No,
Max stops
he
him,
kicks him under there.
kicks him under there.
Hits
yeah.
his head on shit, and then he undoes the jack, so it's pressing on him. Because, like, well, I mean, I don't know how I feel about this Grease Monkey guy, because does he know anything about these guys? All he knows is they want him to fix their motorcycles. That's all he knows.
Here's the thing.
He's like, hey, there's a little baby meat in those tires. Can you get that out for me?
Exactly. It's like, I didn't know what to feel about this guy, because I was like, at first I was like, he's not even with the gang.
No.
And then I was like, wait, is he with the gang? Because he stands up to the gang just fine. When they question him about where the car was heading, and he says north, maybe, he's giving him sass, and he lived to tell about it. You know, he's still working on the fucking thing because he still has use to them. Maybe.
Well, yeah, he's working on their motorcycles.
Right.
So, but to him, that's just another customer. Like he doesn't know what's going on between these two factions.
Right. And he was probably pressured into doing possibly.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like he's as innocent as ever, but still.
Well, Max doesn't kill him, so
this is Max becoming Max, though. It's
Right.
like there's right, wrong, and Max.
right.
And he's going to weave between those lines. He's the true meh.
So he finds out where they're at. He's like, they're fucking out looking for gas. Because this is a nice illusion of what's going to happen further on in the series. Like, gas is becoming scarce. Because when this movie was filmed, we had the oil crisis. So
Oh, okay.
in real life, people were fucking, like, there was times where you could only go on specific days to get gas.
Right.
And shit like that. So it's a nice touch.
This was a good touch.
And we
yeah.
see the gang. There's a gasoline truck driving down the street. They pole vault on top of it.
Amazing. But like I was alluding to earlier, like you were saying, we'll bring it up when it comes up. This is the scene we see throughout the Mad Max series.
Yeah.
Like pole vaulting, hijacking this like it's a fucking train car or something, and stealing the
So
content.
they're siphoning gas into their gas cans. Max catches up with them. Because first he gets rid of the fucking no-name fucking dudes. The Kundalinis and the Mudrogs guys. And so he just like, they're like just driving their bikes, and he like drives through them.
Oh yeah, he drives beyond them, and they're like, "Oh shit, look at that!" He turns around, and they pass over a bridge, and they linger on the bridge for a little while. So you're like, the bridge is gonna come into play.
Right.
So he comes back over. He ties it up, microwave, motherfucking tiny.
Sensei Seagal couldn't have done it better.
So he is crossing the bridge as they are crossing the bridge, but a car can take up a lot more space than a motorcycle.
Right.
And so he takes up enough space that people all have to flee. They're getting hit. They're flying off into this little
One guy,
river.
which they didn't mean to do it, gets hit in the head with the wheel of another on the motorcycle.
Really?
Yeah, you see that in the shot.
Shit. Is he
The
okay?
guy was fine. Yeah, the guy got up. He was fine.
Okay,
but
that's good.
the guy said it looked more fucked up especially when you put it in slow motion.
Oh,
than what it
okay.
was.
Okay.
These were just those vigilante like biker guys.
Oh, those were the biker
Yeah.
guys. Okay. I thought the biker guys were just in that one scene. I didn't know they were in this scene, too.
Well, maybe they were playing like Kundalini and the guys. I don't know.
Oh,
But-
maybe. Okay.
But yeah, so Max has gotten rid of all the who gives a shit bikers. So all that's left is Johnny, Bubba, and Toe Cutter.
Right. And we see Johnny, he's like up on a highway overpass or something, and he finds like a highway telephone, and we see him jacking
I think he was one of the guys. He just somehow survived. He didn't crash.
Right.
Yeah.
But we saw him, he sprawled out early,
Yeah.
and they were getting chased while he was picking his bike back up. So he's like behind them.
Okay.
Johnny just always has that kind of luck, where he's just happens to miss, he's fortunate like that. And so he hijacks like a little phone, and I'm guessing he's calling into the repair shop.
I don't know I don't know how he could get a hold of Toe Cutter, because the assumption I'm believing is that this is something, because there's a chain on it, only like cops and like official people can use this phone.
Right.
So I don't know who the fuck he's calling.
They don't establish what's going on here. They just show Johnny jacking up a phone so he can assumingly make a call, because
And the reason why he was like really so frantic is because when they were filming that scene, they had no permit. So they were like, get this shit done. And then like, let's get moving. But,
it looked really good, especially for Johnny's character.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing what it's supposed to be is that he somehow calls the shop.
It makes no sense, but yes, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So he gives them the warning. So they head out. Bubba and Toe Cutter pick up their bikes from the mechanic.
Right. Toe Cutter grabs his helmet, and as he picks it up, 2 pictures fall out.
Sprague and Jesse. He's always like, fuck, it's on.
Sprague, Jesse, and
Benno.
Goose.
Oh, I thought Benno. I thought
It was a picture of Jesse with Sprague, and then a picture of Goose, like, climbing a chain link fence or something.
He was goosing a woman.
He was.
Yes, that's how I got the name Goose.
That's right.
Okay, yeah. So, and this is another detail that was pointed out on the commentary, which I didn't pick up, which I don't know how anyone could pick it up. On the steering wheel interceptor, right in the center of the steering wheel, picture of Sprague and Jesse.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, nobody would. And all right, so now we're ready to kill off our main bad guys.
That's right.
So he's following Bubba and
At this point, he's just on top. There's like a road that goes over another road. So Max is just standing outside the interceptor watching the road, and he sees like Bubba and Toe Cutter go down that road.
So he follows them, but as luck would have it, or bad luck would have it, there's a giant construction truck blocking the road. So the Toe Cutter and Bubba just go around because they're on bikes, and Max is held up. He puts his lights on. Still takes a little while, so they've got a little head start on him, gets around it, and as he's driving, he sees a bike crashed. And he's like, I wonder what's going on with this.
Yeah. So he's cautious. He slows down. He looks around, stops, parks, gets out, grabs it, loads up his little. He's got the sawed off now, sawed off double barrel. And he gets out. It's a classic sawed off double barrel. Yeah. Mad Max is nothing without that fucking thing. Right.
Which he rarely kills people with because
never,
he never has bullets.
But again, it's like a fucking loaded poker hand,
in the entire series, he's killed like 2 people.
I know that's the best.
Like
fucking
one guy in Road Warrior and one guy in this movie.
That's the best fucking part about it, though. It's like this movie that is just based on violence, but it's like not violent somehow. Like there's ruthless villains.
Well, it's just I don't know. It adds tension because it's like. It's not like most movies where there's a million bullets available. You know, he has what he has.
Right. It gives you that feel of the wasteland, which is, again, why I don't like Fury Road as much, because there's an abundance of everything in that movie.
They're like wasting fuel.
Exactly. And it's like...
Guy has a fucking guitar shooting flames, which looks cool. I'll give you that.
It's cool as shit.
But...
And I do have to accept that it's like so many years later, but I don't like that for a wasteland movie. And so I just see it as separate from the Mad Max world.
It goes back to, like I said, what you said about Conan the Barbarian. It has the right amount of fantasy and magic. Fury Road had too much of the outlandish.
Yes.
So it went into the realm of fantasy it wasn't grounded.
Yeah. Like George Miller did all the cool fucking stunts that would work for like a more wasteland type film, but then he tied in a lot of the fantastical.
Right. Okay, so Max goes to investigate because there's like a body laying by the thing, and then boom, shot in the fucking knee by finally Bubba gets to use that gun.
Yeah, we get like a 5-second establishing shot of Bubba with a gun and Toe Cutter right behind him. Bubba took out.
Right,
what was
because
it?
that's the thing. Toe Cutter is Tulsa Doom. He never gets his hands dirty.
That's right.
Always lets surrogates do his dirty work for him.
So Max is laid out on the ground. His fucking sawed off. His, far from his hand. He can't quite reach it, but he's just grasping for it. And Bubba, he's fucking high on his own fumes here. He's trying to show. He's like, I'm sick of Johnny the Boy, because Johnny the Boy set up this trap and it worked. And so Bubba's got to be feeling like, I can't let this kid take.
Yeah, he's
take my shot.
he's clearly jealous of Johnny and the attention that Toe Cutter gives.
Toe Cutter even says to him, Bubba, don't stretch yourself here, man. And Bubba's like, I know what I'm doing. Visor down, fires up, and goes after Max. So I think he'd already run over his arm.
Ran over his
he'd
arm,
already run over his arm.
Yeah.
But he's coming back for seconds at this point.
And Toe Cutter's scared now, so he's just like, kill this motherfucker. And he's like, I got it. Drives toward him. Max just grabs a gun and shoots his fucking ass.
It's flying off the bike. It's beautiful. Max recovers to his feet.
Great job of stumbling by Mel.
Incredible job. This guy watched Ricky Morton to learn how to sell. He was so fucking good at it. His foot was quivering and everything. I didn't think you could really do that much foot acting, but Mel, this is why he had a career.
Well, didn't you know the Australian version of Billy Drago is all about foot acting because they're down under.
Damn it. Oh, Murray. And so this is
It's
great.
Billy Drogo.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. I want someone to draw some more Weasley Billy Drago that is a William Drogo. Willie Drogo. God damn it. No one's going to listen to the end of this. This is going to go by so fast in Aura's feed that she doesn't even register what just happened. What magic just happened.
You guys better savor this like a fine wine. I don't want to hear anything about you, Abra, going at double speed. Savor this episode.
I love that. Right before we finish this episode, don't go at double speed.
Well, you should be ashamed of yourself if you are right now. So, Toe Cutter shows his true colors. He bitches out. First he goes, which that was an ad lib. There's no way that was in the
100%.
script. But I loved it. It was great.
It was perfect for Toe Cutter.
Puts on his fucking helmet, takes off.
Yeah. He's got to do the goggles and then the helmet. Like, it was great because it's like he takes all of his time.
Yeah, and then Max chases him. And all right, I'm sure I'm the idiot, and I'm sure everybody saw this the first time they saw Mad Max, but it wasn't until someone pointed it out to me, and now I cannot unsee this moment. Max is chasing fucking Toe Cutter. Toe Cutter is freaking out. He's looking back. He's like, holy shit, because he's got the interceptor. He's got the nitrous going on. He's going to get caught.
That's right.
So he's so concerned with Max, he doesn't see what's ahead of him, which is a semi coming. And he gets splattered by. We see the great special effect. We forgot to point out that Knight Rider did the same thing.
Yeah, when he got splattered, Knight Rider's eyes pop out.
Right, and so does Toe Cutter's, and he splattered. Okay, I swear I never noticed this until someone pointed it out, and it's so obvious. The guy who owned the truck was like, I'm not fucking running over a motorcycle and trashing my truck.
Oh.
So what they did was they put a metal plate in front of the truck and painted a grill and a headlight. And it looks so awful when you look at it. But they cut it so that I don't know. I'm sure everyone's like, Tim, you're an idiot. You should have saw that the first time.
I never noticed
I
that.
never did either.
Never noticed
And
that.
they even have a side view where you can clearly see this metal plate that's like bolted onto the front.
I'm literally into my 12th, 13th viewing of this movie. Never noticed it because I'm just always enamored. I'm like into it. It's like the eyeball gag thing always gets me, and then the smashing.
Right.
So I'll watch it. on
Okay,
frame.
so far, I don't know. I found the deaths of their villains kind of anticlimactic, but the final kill makes up for it. For
right. We've talked about this again with Tulsa Doom. You keep bringing them up because that death was anticlimactic.
Right.
It was just, this weak old dude that was just a mind controller, and that's what Toe Cutter was. He wasn't this brute. He was brutal in nature, but still, it's like we didn't get to see any of that shit. He just controlled people really well. He's a manipulator. So
Max he's mad now. He's broken.
Yeah.
And he didn't get the closure he wanted.
Right. You think he would have wanted that moment where he got to stand over Toe Cutter and punch the shit out of him and, tell him, like, you killed Goose, you killed my wife, you killed my son.
So he's just in a daze, just driving, just going nowhere. Just looking for Johnny. He knows he's got to get Johnny. Johnny's the last one.
You think he was looking for him?
I think, yeah, because he's got to get revenge for Goose now.
I didn't think he had any idea what he was doing. I thought he just happened to find him.
Oh, yeah, he stumbled on him, but I think he was looking for him.
Okay.
Because who knows how many days went by. We just assume it was one day, but we don't know.
Right.
But, yeah, he finally stumbles on a car wreck, and I think he recognized the bike because Johnny's bike is there.
Right.
And we see Johnny's just, hey, I lost the gang. I'll just start another one. He's like, nice boots to that fucking guy who died in this car. Do you think he caused the car wreck or he just stumbled on a car wreck?
He stumbled on it.
Okay, because he's stripping. He's fucking, he's recycling.
Recycling.
He's taking the guy's boots. So he's got his boots off. So he's got a bare foot. Max rolls up on him, puts a gun on him. He's like, hey, man. He doesn't even recognize that it's Max. Like,
Right.
He's just like, what's the deal? Like, what's going on? Classic fucking rich kid not taking responsibility. He's like, why are you mad at me, man?
This person was already dead, and I'm just taking their boots. They're not going to use them. They're dead. I didn't do it. You got nothing on me.
But that's how entitled Johnny is. He thinks he can always get, because he's always gotten out of shit.
Right.
Because of his rich parents. And Max, like, pulls out the fucking handcuffs. I'm going to give you the American version. Handcuff. Ankle. Puts it on his ankle. Starts dragging him. We see the gas is leaking out of the fucking car.
And this whole scene is amazing. It's like we're going over...
They used this scene in The Punisher. Except instead it was like the guy had to cut off his hand.
Yeah, I figured.
It was fucking annoying.
I figured
it was
that's
so
exactly
like
what
telegraphed.
it was. Yeah. I love the scene though because it's just Johnny.
This is fucking brutal. This is awesome. The Saw fucking franchise owes all they have to this fucking scene.
Right. And it's so amazing because it's like all Max says to him is ankle. Because he pulls out the handcuffs so the kid knows. And he starts to put it around his wrist and he goes, ankle. And that's what we hear from Max for the next 3 minutes. Johnny is going nuts here. Hey, I'm sorry. I don't know what I really did. And you can't fucking come.
Well, he's like, they say I'm crazy. I'm not responsible for my
sick.
actions.
I mean, I'm 16, but I'm sick. I'm also sick, and I'm 16, and I'm psychological. I'm impaired. I'm autistic. I'm ADHD.
So Max drags him, handcuffs him to the car, and then we see the gas. And so he configures this thing where he takes a broken headlight, puts it underneath the gas leak, pouring down. He gets like a little like sled type thing.
Yeah.
And then tapes
MacGyver's.
Then he tapes Johnny's a bit Zippo to the bottom. So when it fills up, the headlight fills up, then it'll start pouring down. Then he fucking pulls out this fucking hacksaw and is like, look, that's high tensile steel. If you start right now, maybe 10 minutes you could hack through that. But your ankle, you could probably hack through that in 5. And just throws it to him. And then Johnny just knows he's fucked. He's just like, he has to laugh about it. He's just like, I'm fucked, man. You look like I look stupid, don't you?
Yeah. That's all he says. You think I'll look stupid.
And then Max just fucking gets in his car, takes off. He gave the guy a fucking chance.
Explodes in the background.
We just assumed Johnny's dead, but who knows? We assumed that fucking Jesse was dead. Maybe we're going to have in a future Mad Max movie, we're going to have a footless guy.
That would be fucking cool.
No, it wouldn't be. I don't want it. Because there's so many people that are like, humongous? That's Fifi. No, it's not.
No.
Stop trying to connect the dots.
You're right. You're
right.
right.
I guess in the original script, humongous was going to be Goose. And
really?
And then they realized it's stupid and they're not going to do
that. Would have been stupid as shit. I wouldn't have liked that at all. Yeah. I like it better as Max on these weird adventures where he's meeting new people, as opposed to my history comes back to.
Yeah,
I don't like that. It
reeks of modern storytelling where everything's connecting the dots.
Yeah, I like it more as
it's random.
Yeah, exactly. Max is meeting new random, like it's a wasteland. It's an endless wasteland, and you're meeting endless characters. He doesn't have time to revisit his history because.
You wouldn't. That's the thing. Like, it's like these post-apocalyptic movies. Like, look, we live about 20 miles away. If something catastrophic happened, you and I would never see each other ever again. But you see, like in the shit like The Walking Dead, people meet up like states away, like
Yeah.
just bump into it, like that would ever happen.
Right, exactly. Like there was the only remaining Applebee's that still actually served people and had appetizers, and so everybody happens there or some bullshit like that.
And then Max just drives off like he's broken, man. He's got no closure. You know, because revenge, like we were saying with Conan, revenge. You don't get closure from that.
Yeah.
It's still people are still dead.
Yeah.
So-
Everything you fought for, quote unquote, that's gone. You lost the fight.
Right.
What next?
Which is that's why I'm like, that's Byron Kennedy, because he had the balls to end it on a bleak note. Like he gets revenge, but does he?
Does he? It's so
And he
good.
just drives off. We don't know what's going to happen to this guy. He could become a criminal for all we know.
Right. I fucking loved it.
So there you have it, people. Happy birthday to all of us, because you got the present.
That's right.
But it doesn't stop there, Griff. Because
It can't stop there.
can you believe this? Next week is our 250th episode.
Woo!
I say this every time we celebrate, but I never thought it'd be 250.
I know. We did this at the top of the episode.
We did this
8
at
days
200. We did it at fucking 150. We did it at 100. We did it at 50. Even 50, we were like, I can't believe we made it to 50.
It's true.
And I can't. And if you've been on the ride from the beginning, we thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say when we do 300, I'm gonna be like, I can't believe. And are we gonna have to do 300?
We're gonna. Oh my God, we do. We have to. That was one of the only action movies I liked in that age.
Okay,
we might have to. I think that
So-
movie is cold and distant, and nothing happens in it though.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can do it.
No, there's a lot of action in 300.
But is it? Yeah, we're not good at action though.
No,
we're
we
good
can.
At plot.
I think we're gonna be good at tearing into that movie. I don't think we're gonna.
I think we'll have to try it again. But that would be fantastic to do for
But that's
300.
a year away.
That's a
Greg.
year away. That's a year
We're talking
away.
about 250 next week.
Woo!
And we got to go. I mean, I don't know if we can go any bigger than Mad Max as far as I'm concerned, but we're going to try.
Yeah.
We're going to do another. This is probably my favorite Schwarzenegger movie of all time.
Murray?
I know it's very Murray heavy this month, but come on. I'm almost 50 years old, for fuck's sake. I don't look it, but I'm almost 50. So we got to pay some homage to me, all right? We're doing, in my opinion, the better. Some people say the sequel's better.
Yeah.
I-
One of the rare circumstances where people say the sequel, then again, your favorite is. Yeah.
Yes. But I don't agree with that. Not that the sequel's bad, but this one's just grittier.
It's
just
so good.
We're doing the Terminator, people. Another movie I thought we'd never do, but we got to go big for fucking 250.
We'll talk Arnold's dong.
We might draft. Can call up Joe? He may need to come in for this one. Because
I'll
he knows
see.
all about Schwarzenegger's dong, especially in this movie.
I'll see what we can do.
So, all right, people, it's 250. Thank you for enjoying Mad Max with us. Road Warrior will be coming up shortly, and keep it warm.